So the first thing we have is our presentation and discussion about the pickleball courts at Bittner Park. So as you all know, because of the soil situation down at Adams, we looked at moving them up to Bittner. So I guess we'll turn this over to Mike very quickly and let him give a little.
Oh, okay.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Ott. I'm a licensed professional engineer with Summerhill Civil Engineers in Madison, and Rick has hired us to design the pickleball courts and tennis courts. And I apologize, I didn't know I was going to do a presentation, but I can do a little. Rick, you want me to just do a little explanation? I do have the drawing if I can share my screen. Do you want me to do an explanation of what we're planning to do up at Bittner?
Briefly, yes, please.
Okay, so can I share my screen?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
If you can do it, more power to you. No.
Okay, I'll try. Okay. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes, I can now.
Okay.
Okay.
So as Rose said, we ran into some existing soils issues at Adams. Basically, the area is a long ago filled wetland. So down about 6 feet or so, there's at least 10-foot thick organic soils layer. And we've determined that we can't put any more weight on those soils. If we do, we will likely have problems with the new tennis court and pickleball courts. So that led us to finding an alternate solution. You probably all recognize this aerial view of the skate park, if you can see my cursor, and the basketball court at Bittner Park. Drawn in blue and red here is where the pickleball. So they will go, the new pickleball court will go right up against, we'll take the chain link fence down, the pickleball court will go right up, butt right up to the edge of the basketball court here along this blue line. Fencing will all get reconfigured. The majority of the new pickleball courts are out in the current open area, but these corners here and here are in the woods. So there'll be a little bit of tree removal. There's going to have to be some relocation of trails and part of the disc golf course, which Rick can explain in more detail. And this area here in this corner drops off significantly. So we're going to have to place some fill here in order to bring the elevation up and be able to build these courts. So that's it in a nutshell. We're going to redo the tennis courts where they are essentially and the same construction so that we don't add any new weight at Adams. And then we'll build concrete, post-tension concrete pickleball courts here at Bittner. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if I can.
Yeah, so Mike, I assume that at Adams there was going to be 4 pickleball courts there. We're just going to there was going to be 4 at Adams, correct? Pickleball courts.
No.
There was going to be, yeah.
Yeah, what's going to be 4 now? There's just going to be 4 at proposing 4 at Bittner. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Now, just quick question: there's got to be some type of fencing between the pickleball courts and the basketball courts, right, to prevent balls from going back and forth, correct, I assume?
There will be along this blue line that I'm tracing with my cursor, if you can see it.
Yeah.
There will be, that will be fencing, yes. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
If I can just clarify, Lawrence, that at Adams, it's going to be the tennis courts. They can still double as pickleball courts, so like they do now. I think the intention is that that's still an option if people want to play, bring their own nets and play there, right, Mike? I think we're still talking about lining it as it is now for pickleball, but the 4 standalone permanent courts will be at Bittner Park, not at Adams.
Right. I'm sorry if I didn't explain that correctly. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you, Rick.
All right. Any other questions? Any in the public that want to speak to this? Rick, you're sort of in control of this, so.
Yeah, Mike, I don't know if you can take that off because I can't see any of the other people now. Can you? Okay. There are 4 guests. I don't know if anybody here that's interested in commenting about, has questions about the pickleball courts at Bittner. I don't.
Yes, I'd like to.
How's that better?
I just kind of came in, so I didn't get what you said at the beginning about exactly where these are going to be. As I come in over the bridge and take a right to get to where all the you know, where you stored the sand and so forth. Is it going that way, or which other way is this going to be going?
It's going that way, but up the hill where there already are courts and the skate park.
Oh, okay, in the state park.
Right.
I'm not sure for Kathy. She probably needs an identification of who that was. I don't see who you are. I can only see a few people on my screen here. Can you just give your name and address for Kathy for the record?
Yeah, it's Rosemary Clementi on Long Hill. And
okay, thank you.
It's on the phone.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I think a lot of our public is here for the dedication.
Okay. Well, does anybody have any other comments on the pickleball up at Bittner, or we're all pretty good with this, right?
How much of that, how much of the golf are you going to change? Which part of it?
Well, Mike and I can talk about that some more, but if anything, it would just be the basket on number 18. And I think it may be far enough away, but if we have to move that a little bit, we could do it. Wouldn't be a major problem moving it. So where the 18th basket lies now, it might be a little close to where the pickleball courts will extend to, but I think once we kind of get out there and get it all measured out, we'll see. You know, we'll see how close it ends up being. Right, Mike?
But we don't anticipate that it's going to take major changes to the disc golf course at all. It's going to be a minor change.
Right.
Right? Okay. I just want to clarify that too. Okay. Okay.
We should encourage anyone that wants to speak on behalf of Bill to do so now, because we don't allow public
Well, I want to finish with the
comments.
Yeah, let me finish with the pickleball courts just to make sure, and then we're going to move on. All right, so anyone else for pickleball? Last call for pickleball. All right, so we're done. Basically, we're done with our public information part of the meeting, and we're going to go on now to our regular agenda. And the first thing on our agenda now is public forum. So anyone who from the public would like to speak, Rick will recognize you.
I'm looking at oh, is that Adam Cohen? Do you have your hand up, Adam? Can you
yeah, this is Adam Cohen, and I did have my hand up, but it was waving to somebody walking by.
Oh.
You caught me. You caught me. I was a little distracted.
False alarm.
Yeah, I am here in support of Bill Wallach and the dedication. That being said, I know Matt Renola is also on the call, and I know he may be prepared to speak on Bill's behalf. So I'll turn it over to Matt if he's available.
Hi, Adam. Yes, hey, Rick. I hope you can hear me okay. I appreciate you letting us jump into your meeting here tonight. I sent a letter with Meg Malatesta and a small committee of people at the beginning of April to you guys. And I guess just to introduce myself, so I'm a Guilford High School graduate, class of 1987. I played soccer at Guilford High School. Coach Wallach was my soccer coach, and I think we have a few other members that are joining as well tonight. Adam, myself, Jamie Miller, I think I saw was another alumni is here. If you've had a chance to read the letter, basically our ask is that Bill's turning 80 this year, and
Wow.
we're put together a small committee to try to honor Bill. I mean, he means a lot to me personally and to the people here on this call, but I think there's thousands of students that he was so fortunate to touch from a teacher standpoint or a coaching standpoint at Guilford, both from the boys team and the girls team over numbers of years. I mean, his record speaks for itself. We don't need to get into that, but you know, he also started the Unified Sports Program in Guilford, which deals with, you know, kids that have developmental disabilities. And, you know, he's been just a great mentor to a lot of people in town. And so the ask really was to get before you guys to dedicate the fields at Upper Cox in his honor. This COVID situation has really thrown a monkey wrench into our plans as far as how to honor him, you know, publicly. We initially wanted to tie something together to a girls or boys soccer game this fall, if we could get Parks and Rec to approve our request, and you know, make a big kind of fall alumni weekend. I don't think we're going to be able to do that. It's just too ambitious with COVID right now. So what we would like to do is be able to fundraise, you know, and make a donation to Park and Rec in honor of Coach Wallach. But to do so, we need approval from you guys, and we'd be able to make a sizable donation, you know, as far as capital improvements to the field, or, you know, monies that could be associated to any other capital expenditure projects that, you know, you guys have ongoing in the town of Guilford. So we have a fairly large alumni, you know, following. It goes back to probably the late 60s, early 1970s in Guilford, and a lot of men and women came through and played soccer there that have a tie to Coach Wallach. So we put the heat on some people to fundraise, and, you know, would like to have a nice sign at the entrance to the Upper Cox Fields, and then again, a donation to Parks and Rec to use funds as needed. So since the COVID virus has kind of put a hamper on our plans, what we'd like to do is maybe, you know, since he's 80 at this point, is maybe if you guys would be so kind to approve and we go forward, to at least let him know what our plans were, and then we'll probably push a, you know, bigger gathering, or, you know, something towards next summer, maybe in the spring, if things get a little bit looser here with the virus. But that's our ask, that's our plan. I mean, I'd be happy to answer any questions about Coach, or, you know, anything that we're you know, planning on doing.
Okay. Any other public?
Yeah, I'm joining.
Yes.
My name's Jamie Miller. I grew up on Little Meadow Road, and I played like Matt and Adam and Meg Malatesta and many others who are involved with this and support it. Mr. Wallach helped to shape our youth in many respects, and established for us a standard of excellence that we've been fortunate enough to have as a lifelong ethic. And I think it's safe to say that not only did Mr. Wallach mentor generations of players while they played in Guilford, he has stayed a part of our lives, and literally more than can be counted. It's just incredible the impact he's had. And I know Matt said his record stands on its own, but just to bring that to the forefront of your minds, he had 200 wins and 10 losses in Guilford. I think it was 10 titles that he won, 10 state titles. I mean, it's pretty extraordinary, the legacy that he left behind for Guilford, for its place in soccer, not just in Connecticut, but in New England and the entire Northeast. So I think this honor is well earned. It's certainly heartfelt from hundreds of people whose lives he touched, and the town of Guilford, that his legacy still lives on. So we would be extremely grateful and fortunate if you were to approve this. And as Matt mentioned, we have a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm behind fundraising that we hope will contribute in Mr. Wallach's name to your ongoing work in Guilford. So I just wanted to add that to what Matt meant and to thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Just another resident who just joined, Catherine Bateman. I don't see her. I just see her silhouette here. I don't know if she's here for for Bill Wallach.
She is. I think she is if she's on.
She is.
Catherine, did you have a comment?
Can we get her?
Yeah, I don't see her muted. Catherine, can you hear us? I see her.
I can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Catherine Bateman, and yes, I'm here to represent Bill Wallach. Thanks, Jamie.
Catherine, is there anything else you wanted to say about it?
I got in late, so I'm not sure what the first question was. I apologize. I just joined.
No, we're actually in public forum, and the guys were just sort of telling us why they thought we should do this, and I didn't know if you wanted to add to what they said or had something you wanted to say specifically.
And you guys already spoke, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys have.
So I'm extremely fortunate that I was able to be one of Bill Wallach's soccer players for most of my career. I would not be where I am today without him. I was a Guilford resident my entire life, and I started playing soccer in the 3rd grade. And my career and my life has ever changed because of him. He's just an extraordinary individual. He's given so much, and I don't know one other coach that's been on the field more than him or has given to more players than Bill Wallach. And I'm proud to have even known him and been a part of his life, and obviously extremely grateful to be one of his players.
Thank you. Okay, any other public?
This is Adam Cohen. I think that Catherine, Jamie, and Matt said really most of what needed to be said about Bill Wallach. I just wanted to reiterate, and I'm glad Catherine spoke. I just want to make sure everybody knew that Mr. Wallach didn't only coach boys, he coached women as well in Guilford. I know Matt mentioned Coach Wallach's work with children with special needs. For a long part of Coach Wallach's career, he really wanted to be known more as Mr. Wallach than as Coach Wallach, because to him, that meant he was more of a mentor and a teacher than just a coach.
Mhm.
And I can echo what Matt, Catherine, Jamie said. And aside from my parents, Mr. Wallach is by far the most influential person in my life. He has been instrumental in shaping my life and my value system, and I can see pieces of myself in not only how I coach, but how I raise my children. He's that influential to me, and he's one of those people that you know that there's so many other people that feel the same way about him that I do. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
I also just want to say one more thing, if I can. You know, and I'm not saying especially during these times, but I have to say, I'm a divorced woman. I don't have kids. I have worked my whole life. Those of that know Guilford know I always worked also. I had a great upbringing like most people did in Guilford. But the one thing I love about Bill Wallach through different times in my life, as Adam just said, is that there was 11 women on the soccer team when I played. And he always told me in life that I will always be surrounded by a team if I let them in. Those girls that I played on that field with Bill Wallach are still my closest friends. And I am 47 years old, but I got news for you. I could call their names out as loud as can be, and these guys know who they are because they would be there for me in a minute. And he taught us those values. He taught us to have pasta dinners before games. He taught us the value in supporting each other. He also told me, even though he would be tough and say, what the hell are you doing when I missed the ball? He also told me that it went through 3 people before me and it's going to go through 4 more after, Catherine. So pick up your head and be strong and don't cry, you know? And I learned that. He also taught me to be more comfortable even playing with the guys. I used to play in Jamie's backyard. I think we were in the 4th grade, and we used to play soccer in his backyard with a group of kids after school. And he, not only that, he educated us. We started in his camps as young kids, and we learned the values of it. I also want to let you know something is that it's so important. Bill Wallach brought me in front of the school. I was a freshman, and do you remember the gymnasiums, how big they were, and you went on the bleachers? Of course, I was going to be cool that day and went to the top. He announced in front of the whole school about his no drugs and drinking campaign. Why he picked me, I don't know, but he picked me out. And he said, I have someone I want to introduce you to today that is extremely special. And he introduced me. I will never forget. It was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. I walked down. He looked at me in front of that whole school and he said, I care about you and I don't want you to do drugs. I'm going to put this on the record. Never touched it. That is the man he is. Never touched it. Not only did I bring that in my own world, but in anybody else's world around it. He had a way of telling you and instructing you and making believe in yourself. My mother was part of the Guilford High School system for over 20 years. And when she was there, when he came in, she said, he just had that presence and he had the ability to help kids. When kids were in trouble and they sat, my mom ran the Student Affairs Center. Many times she called Bill Wallach and said, we got a kid, we got an issue. And he always came. And that's him. I mean, yes, I think he wanted Jamie to score goals, but at the end of the day, he also wanted Jamie to be strong, successful, smart, and everything else. And I don't know where, and I'm sorry, but the guys on this call today, or the women that played soccer, or any of us, where any of us would have been if we didn't have him. Because he's the one coach that has been there throughout. And I just want to say that.
I hope there's a time that we can, like, he can hear all of this, because like I'm a Guilford High School class of 82. I did not play soccer, but I just remember Mr. Wallach as being Mr. Wallach, and he was a great guy, you know? So it didn't matter if you were on the team or not, you know, he was a great guy, great mentor.
Not driver's ed. I mean,
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. He did.
You're right. Who would want to do that? Only him.
Yeah.
I think, you know, he also, you guys know, he was a teacher at Baldwin for so many years.
Yeah.
So not only did he coach Guilford soccer, but he was a gym teacher at Baldwin.
He was actually dean at Baldwin for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure he was, you know, and taught driver's ed as well. And
yeah.
You know, the other thing I just want to mention is, you know, just from a character standpoint, is Bill was a great motivator. He's a fantastic human being. One of the things that his tie to kids with you know, developmental disabilities is pretty strong too. And in the summers he would work at a camp in Niantic for kids with cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
You know, and he did a lot of good things for a lot of people. And I think that, you know, I could spend hours telling you about my own personal things with Coach Wallach, but that would probably just hurt you, in some cases make you cry. So you know, I just want to say, again, you guys talk about it. We'd be honored to do something for Mr. Wallach in the town of Guilford, to honor his legacy. And, you know, I thank you for your consideration. And, you know, there's a lot of people that have worked really hard. We're kind of a bit bummed out that we're in the place we are, because we can't kind of do things with COVID. Hopefully we can get through some of this, and you know, everybody can get back to normalcy as soon as possible. But I do thank you, and thank the committee for at least letting us get a chance to talk to you here tonight to bring forward the dedication to Coach Wallach.
Okay.
Matt, what's his situation now? His health and
it's good. You know, I you know, things come full circle in life. I have a 17-year-old daughter who's playing soccer. I live in Longmeadow, Massachusetts, and I saw him a couple of years ago at a banquet, and we always been we've talked, since I left the high school. But he pulled my daughter aside last year and said, "Hey, let's go kick the ball around," and he's going to be 80 years old. So last summer he spent some time with my daughter, just at the high school field. I drove down a couple times to see him, and he's already made a positive impact in her life, and he's never really even coached her. He looks great. He's
He's still
fit.
healthy and
He's still
vibrant.
fit. He's healthy. He wants to be involved. I think the worst thing for Bill is, boredom.
Sitting around the house.
He wants to be involved in something. He'd rather, be with his former players' kids, teaching and, imparting the knowledge that he's, given so many people over his lifetime. But his health is good. He looks great. He's fit. He seems pretty good so far. So, but he's turning 80. So we wanted to move as quickly as we could to do something for him. And, I wanted really honestly to be quite honest with you, I wanted to do something for him at the high school, but that just, I don't think was possible given where we're at. So it's just too difficult. But Upper Cox would be a great field. I played there as a kid. It's a great field. It's a beautiful setting with the strawberry patch behind it. It'd be a great opportunity for us to leave a lasting legacy for him.
Matt, why couldn't you do anything? Why couldn't you do anything in the high school? Can you clarify that?
I just think that the high school has, with what was going on this year, there's too much going on, and there's a more formal procedure than
what we would do.
than what maybe Parks and Rec would do.
Yeah.
From they don't want, there's no bribery here. We want to do something for them. We want to raise some money to do some good. People want to contribute to.
So you're saying there's a lot of red tape up at the high school to be able to do something like
I
that?
think there's a long line of people that they want to probably name things after, and
Okay.
it would be kind of hard. It would be hard to do something in the timeline that we would like personally.
All right.
Upper
So
Cox is appropriate too, because he coached the girls team. That's where they practice. So it's appropriate for them.
Yeah.
3 miles.
Absolutely.
right. So before you guys public leave, for the commission, can I get a motion to move new business item A up to now, and then we can take care of this right now?
I'll make a motion to move item A up to now.
Someone second that, please?
I'll second. That was Claire.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that being said, you know what? Yeah, I taught with Bill for years at Baldwin, and I understand everything that everybody is saying. So I would love to make the motion that we go ahead and we name the Upper Cox Field the Bill Wallach Field.
I would
I'm
like to
totally for it.
Yes.
And a second. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Any other discussion from the commission on this now?
Rose, just a clarification. Are we going to
And
name?
goosebumps.
There are 2 fields up there. We're going to name the whole complex for him, or talk about one
I
field?
thought you said the upper field.
Well, there are
Uh,
2 up
yeah,
the field.
Two.
Catherine's crying.
I
I
would-
know, I'm on the verge
You-
myself.
We all have tears in our eyes right
It
now.
is, it's wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Um,
I would
So,
like to name them the Bill Wallach Fields at Upper Cox, personally. That's
so you want
that's
to
my ask.
both fields.
Yes.
That makes more sense, Rick, really.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
didn't we just
We do
have something like that a year ago about those fields were transferred to the Park and Rec? How did that work? Didn't
They are, we renamed it to, instead of Cox, we renamed it to 3 Mile Course Park.
Right.
And now,
But didn't-
I don't know
were
if we're
those-
changing the whole name or just Bill Wallach Fields at 3 Mile Course.
I would go with this, since we named them the 3 Mile Course Fields, I believe I would stick with the Bill Wallach Fields.
Mm-hmm. I
If
agree.
we could just take a step back, though, those, I think you were gonna answer my question, Claire. Didn't the Board of Ed just transfer those fields to us?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, okay, gotcha.
And I just want to clarify that for the group that's here making this ask, I'm totally 100% for this. I benefited from Mr. Wallach as well as a 97 graduate. But our
Me too.
policy is that, yes, we can make the recommendation as a commission. We all agree on it. But our recommendation then has to go to the Board of Selectmen for when naming a building or a park or a field. So yes, we have made the decision of we are totally for this, but it still needs to go to the Board of Selectmen. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knew the process, that it wasn't, as of right now, at the end of this meeting, it's a totally go ahead.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
the next BOS meeting is August 17th. They met today, so the next one's in 2 weeks.
Do you guys, so would you, at this point, since you voted yes for it, do you guys now take it to Board of Selectmen and then,
Yeah, generally, Rick usually goes, and I go with him if there's something we really need to say. So I think Rick and I couldn't do it, and anybody else can come
okay.
as well.
Because we'd be, I mean, again, we would be, available to speak on his behalf at that meeting if needed.
Hey, Rick, are you there?
Yeah.
Would it help? I mean, I don't imagine that we'd have any problem with the Board of Selectmen, but one
So
day,
either.
would it help to have them just sort of send us emails or letters that we could then present to the Board of Selectmen?
I think definitely that. And I mean, so far, the Board of Selectmen is doing Zoom meetings. I don't know if they're going to change that in August. But it may not be a bad idea for maybe one of you to be a spokesperson. I think they would allow that, unless you think differently, Rose. But I mean,
No.
they have such passion, for outreach
Absolutely.
and touch. I think it's been very, very heartfelt.
We still have to make a motion. Hey, someone's still gonna make a motion.
No, we have the motion. We haven't voted on it yet. We're still discussing the motion.
Okay.
But I can ask the Board of Selectmen to put on their agenda for their next meeting, and then just decide who comes, who's going to be part of that. If it's Zoom or in person, we could.
So do we have a way of contacting Matt or somebody that,
I
Yeah,
can do it through Meg, right?
Yeah, Meg has Rick's contact and
okay,
we can get her either my information or Meg's, we can get in contact with Rick, no problem.
all right, great. All right, so any other comments, board? Commission members, anything else?
Wonderful.
All right, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. I don't think we have an opposed, so, all right, so the motion passes. And then Rick will get in touch with you guys and we'll figure out some strategy for the Board of Selectmen meeting.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time
Okay.
tonight.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
Take care.
Thank you all very much.
So
for
happy.
Thank you.
us and
Right,
for this
take care.
decision. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. All right, we're going to move on to correspondence. Basically, we have two letters, one from Richard Wall, the other from Mike Sala, and both of them are concerns about Jacobs trying to limit access and raise fees. And I think we have that. Do we have that on our agenda? Yeah, we have the raising fees on our agenda that we could look at for next year, but in terms of access, there's really not much we can do about it. And I think, Rick, you explained that in your emails back to them, so.
Yeah.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve our minutes of July 6th?
I'll make a motion to approve Park and Rec Commission minutes from July 6th.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussions, additions, deletions, anything?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Expenditures. Any comments on the expenditures?
Negative.
Rick, just a question on the septic pumping at Jacobs. Do we normally have to do it every month?
No, but I think they didn't do it in this. Usually they do it, early spring at the start of the season, which would be stuff left over from like late last fall,
Mhm.
So they hit it. And nobody was doing anything in March, April, so they did it in June to clean up, what was there. And then they came in July because we were getting a lot of use down there. And I wanted to make sure they got it before we got to a situation where it backed up. And actually, wait, let me step back. In June, I believe it did back up. There was a problem. What happened is the toilet was running and running and running. And as the toilet kept running, it filled up the septic tank, and then it backed up, the drains. So we had them come and clean it out for that one. And then we had them back in July to really make sure all the use we had in June was all cleared out for the rest of the summer. They usually do
Thank
it 2 or 3 times a year.
Any other questions? Okay, a motion to accept the bills?
And make a motion to accept the July bills?
Second?
Second, Claire.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So let's take a look at our department reports. Okay. Anything on here that's not going to come up later? I think that most of anything is going to.
I'll just comment on a couple of them. One, we did hire Jennifer Knight. Claire sat on the panel with us with Mitch for administrative assistant. She started last week, I think, in that position. She was full-time receptionist for a week. She did a great job as receptionist. So anyway, she's hired for administrative assistant. And then Rose and Mitch and I interviewed candidates last week for receptionist full-time. We hired, it's pronounced Shauna, like Shauna Moore. I didn't have that in the report here because we didn't know when I wrote this who we were going to have or if it was be approved by Mitch and Matt, and it was. So she started today. So we're fully staffed there now. Shauna Moore is receptionist. Again, Claire, Rose sat in on interviews, and we unanimously thought she was the right person for the job. She's a longtime Guilford resident, has had kids in our programs for 20 years, and started today right out of the starting blocks and did a great job today already. So we those are two new positions filled. Number 7, Sarah. I don't think I mentioned this at the last meeting, but they're coming to work with us for work training experience for some of their clients. They've been weeding down at Jacobs Beach, helping with disinfecting bathrooms, and actually they're working 2 or 3 days a week helping Terry out with shopping for the senior shopping. So that's a volunteer thing, nothing that we're paying for, but it provides work experience for the Sarah clients, and they have coaches that are meeting with our staff, and so it's a big help.
All right.
I think everything else is either on the agenda or self-explanatory.
Any questions for Rick at this point? All right, it's Anthony's park foreman report. Other than being hot and humid and fungal.
6 bullets down. We put up a new basketball hoop at Jacobs Beach. The one that we had shattered. It turned out that it was the metal had rotted on it after 10, 15, 12 years down at the beach. It just rotted out. So we got a new one that's there. Quite frankly, I don't know if they put the hoop on it or not. We haven't put up hoops anywhere else yet. Not sure if that's on there. I think it might be, but that's was replaced because the one we had just broke. And about halfway down, I think I might have mentioned this last meeting where Tony and the guys have painted grids at all the little league fields.
Yeah.
216 grids he painted, and he's been keeping up every week or two. And that's the areas where the spectators can sit to be 6 feet apart. We're hearing from Little League and other baseball groups that come into town that they haven't seen this in any other community. So this is an example of what we do, and we go up and beyond what we have to do to make sure people are being safe. And so that takes a lot of time. 216 grids, squares, 6 feet apart, and he paints on those fields.
And are people staying in their grid?
Yes.
They are.
Yeah.
I called
a couple games. I've seen it. They're doing it.
Yeah, I called Rick right after the first softball game I was at Lakes because I knew the grids were going to be there, but I couldn't picture how it would work.
Yeah.
But everyone really does stay in their spot. It works very well.
Oh, good.
As someone who was on
Perfect.
the fence about, getting involved in this with Summer at all, the way Guilford has handled it has been excellent, and definitely I'd say better than, other towns around.
Absolutely. Like Oliver and I travel.
Yeah.
We've been down to Bridgeport. We've been up to Moodus, and not one other field has anything like this. And a lot of the other towns are using dugouts. So they're
Wow.
really surprised when they come up here, and we've got them blocked off and we've got a grid system. So they're impressed, and so am I. Nice
Hey, Rick,
job.
what's the big belly? Update towards the bottom, update big belly with foot pedal door.
It's not me. That's the trash barrel on the southwest corner of the green, kind of by Cilantro's Pages. It's the one solar powered that was donated to us.
Yeah.
So there was a suggestion that we get a pedal so people don't have to touch the lever to open it. It's a foot pedal. You just step on the pedal, thing opens up, put your trash in.
I threw something in the other day or last week. I didn't notice. I'm sure it was there. I just didn't notice it. All right.
It's on the trash barrel, not on the recycling, but on the trash barrel. So.
Okay, I threw something in the recycle bin. Okay. And what was the graffiti at the green?
There were a couple. One was they were both in black paint. One of them was Black Lives Matter, and then somebody in chalk above that, wrote All Lives Matter. We knew it was going to create more.
Yeah. Well, where on the green?
The center main sidewalk, north-south.
So it's on the sidewalk.
And then there was another one diagonally going toward Park Street. There was ACAB.
It was tough to get off.
So that is ACAB.
Is it hard to get off, Rick?
Well, yeah, it was a little hard. I mean, the guys had to use graffiti remover and power washer. I think there's still a little bit of a shadow of it. We talked about it in, our policy. Even if it says "Have a nice day," you can't.
We can't do it. No.
It creates more graffiti. Creates more graffiti.
That's right.
Our policy, we always try to get rid of it as quick as we can.
Okay.
So you consider even people writing chalk with chalk on the sidewalk
We've had some chalk stuff that we took off. I mean, if there's a couple kids drawing happy faces, we're not worried about
I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
But officially, you can't even write on it with chalk on the sidewalks.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's a good question, Lawrence. Again, there was something that was kind of offensive. I don't even remember what it was now. I don't remember if it was, bad words or whatever, but there was some chalk stuff a couple of weeks ago before this, and the guys had to power wash that to get it off. Yeah. I don't think it was kids, tracing their handprints or something like that. It was something.
Yeah,
that was
I've seen adults up there. I've seen adults up there writing. Taking a long section of sidewalk, writing on the sidewalk. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Okay. The Recreation Supervisor report. Comments on that?
I have quite a few of my friends' kids attending the camps and have just sung praises on how well organized it is, how safe they feel about leaving their kids there, and that the staff has been absolutely amazing. So great job on that.
Good to know.
It's great to give kudos to those staff. We talk about the beach staff a lot, but the camp staff too have done it, like you said, Claire, have done a great job. A lot of towns are not running a camp. They didn't want to deal with it.
Right.
They just didn't want to even take the effort. And I met with Ellen and Taryn and said, look, let's give it a shot. Let's try it. Some of the staff were a little nervous, being like a guinea pig in a sense, because no one else has done a program like this. But they did it, and they're doing a great job. And our numbers, the first session, I think we were at 18, went to 22, and now we're consistently around 35, 36 kids, which is kind of our max. We can go to 50, but with the staffing we have, we're going to keep it at that. We're not going to hire extra staff for like 1 or 2 weeks, and that's it. So we're pretty maxed out. And that's good. People a lot of them are returnees coming back every week, so they obviously feel comfortable with it. A lot of credit goes to the school. The high school custodians have been great, disinfecting the bathrooms and being real accommodating. I think they like seeing some life in the building. They haven't seen much, since February here. But they've been great, fantastic. And the next time you go to Jacobs Beach, look at the kiosk. That's, I think, the first bullet that Ellen put in here. The aquatic staff painted the back of the kiosk where it's permanent, like tides, and then they can write in like a chalk or something with the high tide.
Nice.
They have a joke of the day. They put a joke or riddle up there every day. Water temperature, any issues like watch out for jellyfish. it's permanent on the back, and they just fill, they put in
Right.
a paper chalk on,
Where? Check this.
on the squares.
Oh, yeah.
They did a nice job of it.
Need the adults.
Okay,
The second of October, the pop-up.
sorry.
program,
I think the kids.
Sandcastle building with 4 families, and the art program they did at Chaffinch, rock painting, had 9 families. So staff are, since we're not doing sports camps and a lot of the other typical summer programs, they're trying some of these like 1 or 2 hour family pop-up events, and they've been pretty well received.
I want to comment on one of your, do we call them gate guards or the beach? I think her name is Tara. Is that her name?
Taylor, maybe?
Taylor? Yes.
Taylor,
Okay.
yeah,
And
she's
she has done a wonderful job in Simply Guilford at answering questions gently, nicely, heading off to the, I mean, she's done a fabulous job. And she says, oh, you might want to know, if you want to know when the beaches are open. She just does it in such a wonderful way. I'm so impressed and relieved to see it there, because it really, it's, how Simply gets, and it just shuts everybody right down for any reason. It's very good.
Good.
She is fantastic. She's worked with us for a number of years in different programs like birthday parties, and I think maybe gate guard for a lot of years. She's 24. She's actually a teacher in Groton or East Lyme or somewhere over that way. Niantic, maybe, I'm not sure. Somewhere east. She teaches math, but she's a tremendous person. She does a great job. I'll make sure we pass that on to her.
Okay, senior report.
And not much happening other than shopping.
Shopping, yeah.
I mean, you see Terry's numbers there, 1,205 trips, 191 different people, a collection of $103,000, $103,321, and it's amazing. It's really not, we thought it was fading out a little bit, but it's not so much. We're kind of hoping it was going to. Terry said it was light early last week and thought that, oh, good, maybe it's starting to settle down a little bit. I don't mean good. I mean, it's been a good thing we're doing, but it is a lot of work. But
Again,
then
my concern is what's going to happen when, I know I talked to Terry a little bit last week, and some senior programs and some programs are starting to maybe start up again. So I'm a little concerned that is staff going to be able to handle all of this, Rick?
Well, one thing that's helpful is now, so we have a full-time receptionist, which we never had before, except for 1
Okay,
week.
so that'll help.
So that helps a lot with the phone calls. I know today she took several the shopping list requests, so she got baptized right away.
Okay. Wow.
But I know Taryn was doing it, Ellen was doing it. I mean, everybody in the office is doing it, probably except me for the most part. But they all do it. Everybody chips in to help out. For now, Rose, it's okay because, again, we're not offering a lot of programs that we normally do.
I'm concerned too about, as things start to ease up a little, we have our bus drivers taking people to doctor's appointments and all kinds of things. So.
And we have 1 driver right now.
I'm worried.
Yeah.
Have we advertised to hire more drivers?
They haven't quit. They just don't want to come back right now with the COVID thing. I think if we're starting to do senior meals again and senior programs, I think most of them will be back. There may be one that won't come back. We should have a second one in about a week. He went on vacation to South Dakota for 2 weeks, so I think he's back next week. So we'll have 2 anyway. But right now, with 2, we're okay because all we're doing is medical rides.
Okay. All right. So far, so good then.
Yeah, we're managing. Okay,
and building maintenance, it's coming along, I guess.
Under building interior, Todd mentioned the Guilford Whitfield room. The code base came in last week, about 2 weeks earlier than we thought it would. So he's going to start chipping away maybe the end of this week, starting to put that in. Excuse me. We have the census training has been happening for a few weeks. I think they're done this Wednesday. I think is their last day. So they've been in the Guilford room again, they have to kind of separate apart. So they've been in the Guilford room, Guilford, Monuckatuck, and Faulkner room, using all those rooms for training. And they're done on Wednesday. So once they're out of there, I don't think there's much scheduled in that room. So it's how to be able to go in and start putting that code base in.
Rick, the ceiling tiles for the elite room in the kitchen, are they going to be a whole lot different than the other ceiling tiles we've had, I guess?
So Todd got one new one and put it in there to show me the difference. Those ceiling tiles, especially around the vents in the ceiling, you get all that sort of dust, that comes out. He tried taking the tile out. He tried a leaf blower to try to blow the dust off. He tried vacuuming it, sweeping it. You can't get it. It doesn't come off. It's in the.
It's right in the top. You get it.
So he put one of those up from that we have from the Whitfield room. I said, "Oh my goodness, what a difference!" they're white. The other ones really look gray. So he's going to put together, get some quotes. I think it was around $400 for the elite room to replace ceiling tiles in there. So it's not a huge ticket item. We got, I forgot how many, $6,000, $4,000 for building repairs, improvements, in the budget for any kind of improvements we want to do.
Okay.
So if we decide we want to go that direction, we could probably do it, but we got to get the actual price of the different types of tiles.
Okay.
I mean, are they real bad? They're not. But now if you look at one and you see the comparison, you see, wow, what a difference.
Okay. Any other questions on any of the reports? Okay, then let's move on to, report of commissions, standing fields.
We did meet. We actually met there at the community center in the courtyard last Monday. So it was a in-person meeting. The main thing we're talking about is the slit drain project, which is one of our capital items in the budget for the new sod field at the high school. That's the one next to the new turf field, what used to be the high school student parking lot. The drainage has always been not good in that field. So we have money in the budget to, the budget was $57,000, but when we went out to bid, the bidder was like just under 26,000. So it's way under bid. They started mobilizing last Friday. Depending on what happens with this storm tomorrow, they'll probably start Wednesday, unless it's too wet. It'll only take them a week or two to get it done. We've got to make sure it gets done before the high school fall season, assuming they're going to need that for their sports. So they know that it's a good company. They're out of Northford, so it's good to know there's a company nearby. Very professional. Mostly the work they've done is on golf courses, but they've done a lot of fields. We've seen pictures of fields they've done, like Choate up in Wallingford, and very high references. They were approved by the Board of Selectmen, and they started mobilizing Friday. The other thing for field committee is the middle of the stadium field. I had to go to the Board of Selectmen meeting this morning to get them to approve field turf. They're the company that supplied the carpet for that field 14 years ago. But the center of the field is extremely worn out. We don't want to go out on a limb and say it's not safe. I mean, we just don't like making those kind of statements. But I can say this would not meet the GMAX test, which is concussion ratings. It wouldn't do it. If you walk in the center, like where the logo is, that very center of the field, you can actually see the grass fibers are worn out to the backing right below. You can actually see the backing. So it clearly doesn't meet what it should meet right now. The cost is over $10,000 just to cut out a 30-foot by 30-foot area, patch it back in, and then put the cushioning material, the crumb rubber and the sand in there. It's a little bit of a challenge because that field's getting ripped up. Like next year, it's going to be torn up. And so I went to the Board of Selectmen this morning. There were quite a few questions about why are we spending $10,000. It's getting ripped up next year. I said, well, it's actively being played on like right now. It's going to be played on presumably in the fall. Right now, it sounds like CIAC is going full bore. It's going to be played on in the spring. And now we know it's not in the condition that they should be playing on. We got to fix it. We don't have any choice. I said to them, if this was a grass field and we had to put sod down on the goal areas, nobody questions it. We do it. It's a maintenance issue. You have to do it. The only thing is, we notice it's getting ripped up in a year, and it's a $10,000 bill, and there's really not a lot of choice. So I talked to Mary Jane, the finance director. The money we're saving, it doesn't have to come out of our operating budget. The money we're saving on that slit drain project, $57,000 versus $26,000, we can use some of that money to do this because it's for field repair. So it's coming out of capital, doesn't cost us anything. So the plan is to have them do this next Wednesday. There's an opening next Wednesday where nobody's on the field, or if that doesn't work, the following Tuesday or Wednesday. So
Rick,
that's talked about.
Is there a way, like, when you guys, or when the field is getting torn up next year to put the new one in, is there a way to recut that out and use it somewhere else, like for a batting cage or a pitcher's mound or anywhere else that it can be saved and used?
Sure, we could save, just like the new field when they tore that up to redo it. We have tons of that carpet. We saved that. That's what's at the disc golf course at the tee pads. The plan was to use it on batting cages if the high school wants to put them out there. Jake was talking, not Jake, I'm sorry, Cliff was wondering about putting them maybe underneath those big bleachers at the high school where the weeds keep growing. The boat racks. Lawrence, I know you've been down there. At the boat racks, we put them underneath all the boat racks to keep the weeds growing up underneath the boats there. It's working great. So to answer your question, yes, we can use that or any piece of that field if we want to save it. We do have a lot.
Rick, I put a request to put them on the outside of the boat racks too.
The outside?
They're great on the inside. Put them on the outside where you walk here.
Yeah, good point. So those are kind of the big issues. And the last one is, looking at the specs with the architect for redoing the track in that field for next year. I've been on Zoom meetings every month with Cliff Gurnham, Paul Schmidt from the field committee, and the architect, and Jake Jarvis about what the improvements are going to look like on the track in the new field, which is coming out of Board of Ed budget.
Fair enough. Okay. Green Committee, anything?
No meeting.
No meeting. Land acquisition.
Nothing to report.
Splash pad.
Nothing to report.
All right, unfinished business. ADA at Chaffinch is whenever the guys get time, right?
Yeah.
All right, our community center boiler replacement is almost done.
Almost done. It's just we had a big powwow meeting last week with the gas company, the engineer, Todd, Steve. There's some discrepancy from the gas company about what size regulator. This is stuff a little over my head, but size regulator for the amount of gas coming into the building that the boilers are requiring, and the regulators in the building to modify. It's like a reducer or expander. I think in this case a reducer. Let's say I'm just going to use a number, 10 psi of gas coming into the building, but the boilers only need 2 psi. So these regulators have to reduce that down to, so we don't have too much gas coming in, or it could go the other way around where maybe we need more gas. But anyway, that's up to them. They're working it out, and that's kind of the only snag right now. The gas company and the engineer kind of going back and forth on that.
All right. Disc golf expansion, I think, is that on hold as well for now?
It's on hold. I think Craig just wanted final approval from the commission. And I said, I think the commission approved this. He wanted to make sure you guys are okay with the expansion, which I know we approved that months ago.
Right.
And then if we want to build new tee pads, I've told them that we got to do some fundraisers, got to hold some tournaments to raise some money for the tee pads and new baskets, because I really don't want to go out asking a whole bunch of sponsors.
All right.
So he's got to get some play up there. He asked about doing a tournament in the fall, what the restrictions would be. And I told him, you can do it. I mean, they're doing golf tournaments, just got to make sure people are 6 feet apart. If they're signing up, registering, give everybody their own pen, so nobody's touching the same thing. Nobody touched the disc. Groups of 4, stay 6 feet apart, I mean, they could do it. If people are playing every day up there now, there's been no problem.
Right.
Don't have one.
Okay.
Rick, I just want to say that, I'm at Bittner Park anywhere between 2 and 8 times a week for baseball, and the disc golf course, I'm always seeing people come on and off it. And then we had a tournament up at Nichols Field where we had looked at their golf course when we were deciding to ours, and it was packed all day long. So people are definitely out there trying it. There was a family at Nichols Golf Course that just stood there for probably an hour trying to get the discs just in the practice basket outside the course. So, I mean, it's definitely catching on around here, because like half of our baseball team are like, can we go over and try that? I'm like, you could do it in Guilford. So it's definitely, I'm glad we did it.
Good. Great. Okay, the pickleball tennis courts. Is there anything else that we need to know about that? We pretty much, they're going to start working on it eventually.
Yeah, so I've asked Mike to, let's get the specs out to bid for the tennis courts like now, ASAP. I've kept Mike Regan, who's the principal at Adams. I've kept him in the loop, talked to him today to let him know that our original intent was that those courts at Adams would be done this summer, but they haven't started yet. So it's going to go into the school year. He has no problem with it. It's far enough away from the school, so he's not concerned about it. But I want to make sure he's in the loop on that.
Okay. All right, update on the concerts at the beach and the green.
So the next one on the beach is this Thursday. There's another one next Thursday. We kind of decided, with input from you folks, that we're not going to try to put grids on the beach. I originally thought about doing that with a bunch of stakes and caution tape, and we're gonna staff it. Instead of having 3 staff, we'll have maybe 3 staff handle parking. Try to get 3 or 4 on the beach, stationed right there, and just remind people separate out. We'll just have to tell people you got to move, separate, and we'll have the band. Over and over. We're gonna announce it.
Good.
I'll be there. I'll announce it if they don't want to, but we'll try to manage it that way. And now the new law though is we can have up to 500 people. We clearly don't want them at the beach. We couldn't do it. But when we did the last concert, the max was supposed to be 100. We had 250. So we're not going to run into that issue, I don't think.
No.
Hopefully this one will go well. If it does, we got one next one too.
Will you bring some masks up as well?
Yes, good point. Yes, I'll remind myself that. We'll have them available.
Yeah.
Right up in front of the band there.
Yes, in case people are there. Okay.
So the next one, I really need to get input from you folks, so I'm struggling with this one. Concerts on the Green, we canceled the first one. The next one is this Sunday. It's a Simon and Garfunkel tribute. It's just a duo. It's not a full band. It's a duo. They're very, very good. If you go to Google on Guthrie Brothers, Simon and Garfunkel tribute. It's the Guthrie, Guthree, I think. Their harmonies are great. They're brothers, and they're good. They're very good. The problem is our max is 500. So I talked with Dennis Johnson, our health director, saying, it's a big green, Dennis. I mean, it's a huge green. He said, yeah, but you know what? If you go over 500, you're going to have that criticism of people that you didn't follow the governor's guidelines. The problem on the green is there's no way to restrict it. How do you do it? Somebody suggested putting a fence around like they do for Handcrafts Fair, but where's the entrance and where's the exit, and how do you manage that? And are people going to, people will walk over the fence, they'll go under it, go around it. There's really not a way. I've gotten some criticism from people saying, well, how come Madison's doing their concerts, East Haven's doing them, North Haven? Madison gets 250 people. I talked to my peer over there, Scott Erskine. He said they get 250. So they get half of what they're allowed. We can get 1,000. We have no way of stopping it. So I don't know if we give it a shot, not advertise it too much, but I also don't want to spend the money we spend on these concerts for 200 people to show up.
I honestly think that a lot of people are still being very cautious and not going out. So I don't really, it's hard to predict. I don't really foresee that you're going to see drones of people that how many do we normally get at a concert? It is that much? Because I've been to some, but it doesn't seem like that much because I guess it's just a big area, but wow.
Yeah.
Some or less. If we have 800 or less, I consider it a failure.
Wow.
Because we have good bands. We draw good crowds. And you know.
Rick, where do you?
And the other side of that coin, Diane, is that there's a lot of people that are so tired of being in, they'll take a chance and get out if it's just going into town.
I know.
We had 250 people show up at the beach. We thought we'd get 100.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that's
think
true.
the bonus right now, though, is, you know, you have South Lane, you've got Baloo's, you've got Centros, and I always forget the one on the corner. They all have outside seating now.
Yeah.
So, and even Quattros, and you'd be able to hear it. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of people may be out, but I think they're going to be using different parts of the green too. And I mean, if we feel like there's too many people on the green, we could always suggest that they visit one of those places and still take part in the music. I don't know. I say go for it.
One other snag, though, let me just mention, is that we don't have a rain site. In the past, if it rained, we go into community center and we squeeze in 300 people. The max indoor capacity is 25, so we have no rain site. And the luxury I always had is I could make that call at 3 o'clock that afternoon.
Yeah.
With the sound guys, we kind of look at radar. You know what storms are like this time of year. You don't know. They get those pop-up storms or whatever. And I would probably have to make the call, I would guess, early Sunday morning. Many of these groups are coming from Long Island, you know, or New Jersey. That's where they're from. So they got, you know, they need some travel time. So I would probably have to let them know pretty early. And the call could be a guess. You know how weather is. Forecasters.
If for a rain site, could you have just the band go to the community center and then we live stream it through Zoom and publicize that could be the alternative? If it's a rainy day, the concert will still happen, but it'll happen in your living room. And I think if we put it out there early enough, I mean, I'm cooking dinner right now. I'd love some live music while I'm cooking dinner.
Some towns are doing that for the whole season. That's what they've chosen to do. And I've seen that, you know, we're in our profession, everybody's always online. Hey, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Who's doing concerts? Who's doing swim lessons? And there's a lot of that stuff that goes out. But again, a lot of those towns, they don't get a lot of people, you know, or they don't spend. I mean, some of these bands are $5,500. Do we want to spend that and maybe 100 people are watching it on Zoom? I don't know. I mean, it's up. I'll do whatever you guys want to do.
I'm a little hesitant, and I like these concerts and I go to them all the time, but I'm a little hesitant, especially after all the flack we got from the last time. I'm afraid that we're going to get a crowd down there, and boy, are we going to get slammed with negative comments.
But if that's how we feel, then like, why are we still doing the beach ones?
Because I think we can control, you can't, I don't know.
It does seem like you can control the beach access a little more.
And that's the thing. The less people show up at the beach, you don't get thousands at the beach. You know, a big crowd, it was what, a couple of hundred, and you're allowed up to 500. We go over 500, we're going to get slammed by a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could,
easier to control the beach.
Yeah, if I could pipe in, I agree with Rose. Rick, you seem very apprehensive to have a concert at the green, and you've been doing this a long time. And if you're apprehensive and you don't feel comfortable, that's the feeling I get. If you don't feel comfortable, then I don't feel comfortable. That's it. I mean, maybe I'm reading you wrong, but you seem like you're very apprehensive. And
I'm only apprehensive of how do we stop at 500. You know, I loved it. I've been doing them 29 years, and I love on Sunday nights in the summer. I'm on the green. You know, I'm not on my deck having a cookout. I'm on the green, but I like it, and I'm really struggling with it because I personally enjoy it and professionally enjoy it, and I want to be able to provide that for the community. But to Rose's point, you know, we got slammed pretty bad for the one we did at the beach.
But let me go back to what Claire says. We can have a little more control at the beach because we can keep people from coming in. You can't keep people from coming in on the green, because Rick and I talked about that. If we limit the number on the green, they'll go sit around the sidewalks. They'll sit out on, you know, I mean, they'll just push in where we can control the beach a little better.
Yeah,
so many cars, we cut it off, you know?
Yeah, I vote. We gotta wait. We should wait on this, something like this.
I'm afraid that we're going to get too many people, and we're just going to get a lot of.
It's
I
too
just
bad.
think there's no way at the green to stop people from coming in. I mean, there's no way to make people not on the green. There's no way.
And there's And there's a way to, I mean, I know a lot of people just don't realize what the state regulations are. There's any way to put signs up just to say that, you know, we would really like to have this. However, you know, Connecticut State is only allowing groups of 500. So, you know, maybe everybody just be a little bit aware of that, and maybe it'll just make people either understand it and not stop, or, you know, even keeping the distance that a lot of people don't abide by to begin with. But, you know, I wonder if there's a gentle reminder somehow that, so we don't get the
But
flag.
I've driven down here, and I don't care if I'm 501, I want to get in. I mean, I'm just being the devil's advocate here. I mean, I love these concerts, you know, but you know, so.
But it's not Simon, like, it's not actually them there. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. I kind of feel like you can enjoy it from a distance. Like Claire said, go to one of the restaurants, or I don't know. I think
They're
people
open that time of night.
are being
Closed on
mindful, but
Sundays.
maybe you guys have seen different at the beach. I don't know. I think people in general are trying to be mindful, but how can you control that if it gets over? I don't know.
You
That's
can't.
why I'm hesitant.
Yeah.
You can't.
Dennis Johnson's,
Yeah.
I think his recommendation was not to do it, because he just thought there's not a way for us to control it.
Yeah.
He's the health director. Believe me, that's why I'm coming to you guys. I'm really torn on this.
But now we'll probably get flack for not doing it.
No.
We're gonna get flack either way.
I don't think we'll catch as much flack for not doing it.
The thing is,
Yeah.
I think though that if we are doing something at the beach where we feel like there is a better way to control it, we are doing something. It's a
Yeah.
concert at the beach. It's not. This is not the same year as it was last year, so it's not
Right.
happening on the green, which is a huge disappointment to everybody who enjoys that. But
Yeah.
it's not that we're not doing anything.
But I think, Rick, you could probably get something into the Courier, you know, to the effect that we are so sorry. We really wanted to do this, but, you know, it's hard to limit this to 500 people on the green, and we just can't help it.
Well, can we move these bands that we have booked to Jacobs and just have a concert on Thursday and Sunday?
Well, that's what
That's
I
a
was
lot of
gonna
money.
ask.
That's something that Dennis actually suggested. But my answer back to Dennis was, okay, Dennis, but if our limit is 500, I'd rather see 500 people on the green than at the beach. Because they can spread out on the green. You can't get
I
500
would
people
too.
on the beach.
Do you mean because the bands that go to the green have a bigger draw? Is that what
They're
you
much bigger, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ones on Jacobs are more local bands, you know. these
Local
two bands
people
probably-
and not, well, you know, just,
I mean, we have the Eagles, we have the Doobie Brothers. You
yeah.
know, not the real ones, but they sound like them.
Yeah, they
You know,
do.
the Simon & Garfunkel group I mentioned, they all always have a big draw on the green. Plus, it's the green. I mean, everybody wants to come to the green for a concert, you know. But to your point, Claire, I mean, we did talk about that. That's another option at the beach. But again, I mean, there, I think we would have to limit it to like 250 or 300 or something. I
Yes.
think we'd be in trouble if we got 500 down there. I don't know where they park anyway.
Yeah.
Green is
No.
also up
We
over.
couldn't, to put 500 people at the beach, we would not be socially distanced. So we're
Right.
doomed. We're doomed, so.
It strikes me you could have 200 people show up for a concert on the green and you are still going to get the people to complain.
Yeah.
I think maybe we shouldn't be doing it now, but I don't think we should. I mean, if things start to improve even more, I don't think we should be so afraid of these naysayers out there, because what happened? It's only the people who don't like what they see that call the selectman's office. None of the people, I'm sorry, none of the people that enjoyed that concert at the beach, who felt safe. I had family there and said everybody was distanced. It was fine. You know, they had no complaints at all. None of them called the first selectman or Rick Maynard to say, hey, thank you. We had a wonderful time. We felt safe. You're not going to hear from them. You're only going to hear from the negativity,
Yeah.
the negative people. So at some point, we're going to have to stop being afraid of that and take a risk and give it a try. Maybe not this time. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know, but at some point we just got to go for it and do our best and hope the public. I mean, I was really impressed when I went to Jacobs Beach on, when did I go? Saturday, and people were really distanced in like little, I was really impressed. I haven't been there this summer. I haven't had any time. And so I think people are getting the hang of it, and people are always going to complain no matter what you do.
Yes, sir.
I think that's true, but I think we'll also be, when you have this one at Jacobs again, it will be a test to see how it goes too.
Exactly.
you know,
Oh, yes.
a test in a more controlled environment, you know?
Yeah.
Rick, what's our cutoff to, like if so right now it sounds like this Sunday's concert on the Green would be a no-go, but like you have another one booked at the end of August, right? We don't have to cancel that right now.
They're every Sunday now.
Every
Every
Sunday.
Sunday, we have 4 in a row. No, Dennis Johnson, I asked if he heard anything, if the governor's going to phase 3 and if anything's changing with numbers. Dennis every Wednesday has like conference calls with the state health director, state health department, and other health directors. And I asked him if he could check that out, ask about concerts. And he said, what I already knew, some towns are doing them, but they don't get the numbers we get. He said he doesn't believe that 500 number is going to be expanded anytime soon, probably into the fall, not even into the fall. He also, my next thing I want to tell you, he said, yeah, you better forget about the fireworks. I mean, we rescheduled it for September 12th. And he said, there's no way you can keep 500 people, and we get 6,000. He said, you just forget about it. You're not going to be able to do the fireworks. So that's the next thing I got to cancel. But
Well, most towns have canceled their fireworks. I mean, that's what you can do,
I guess at the very least, we are doing the concerts at the beach, so we are offering something, we can manage that. I am disappointed about the green ones because, I know they're a great benefit for people in the community. They love them, and I love being there, but I don't know what to do this year.
I don't think it's a good idea to go against recommendations from our health director either.
Bingo.
Agreed.
Bingo.
That actually solved it for me when you said that about Dennis. I said, well, if he doesn't want it, we really don't want to go against him.
Exactly. And then, then we get a crowd and then it just goes downhill from there. I think, Rick, as sad as it's going to be, I think we do have to just let it go for this year.
Can I make a request? Can I make a request, Rose?
Yeah, of course.
That after this concert at the beach, that no one go on social media and look at the comments? You all right? Just ignore
I'm
them.
not doing it anyway, so, what can I tell you?
But it's
I'm
amusing.
gonna have
They're actually amusing.
I'm going to have 150 people call Matt on the next morning and tell him what a wonderful time they had and can't
do.
Yes. I'm
Those
gonna do the same.
Please do.
Do you want those calls too?
Suzanne just texted me a message. I think she's here, but she's texting me a message that she agrees. She thinks we should go with Dennis Johnson said.
Comments. All right. So I guess we pretty well decided that.
So,
and then we'll see how things go Thursday at the beach.
Yeah, and Rose, like you suggested to Rick, if you could just put a little blurb in the Courier.
Yeah.
I think that's,
I think people will understand.
So we're trying, but.
I'll talk to Jesse Williams. Usually good about trying to get kind of a more front page sort of or visible story rather than just a little press release buried somewhere.
Yes.
I'll talk to him and I'll let him know that we are going with the beach concerts. Remind people about masks, social distancing, all that kind of stuff.
I'm sorry if you already said this, but how many beach concerts are there?
I think it's 4.
Okay, so that's good. I mean, that's still 4 activities,
Yeah,
if you're desperate, you could always drive to East Haven, right? On Sunday.
Yeah.
Or Madison. They only have 250.
Or Madison.
So while we're on this, can I just tell you about the drive-in movie? As you know, we canceled the last one. We only had 18 people, and then we found out we had to get that license, which is $450. So the next movie is scheduled, our only other one, this Friday. We only have 38 people signed up. They have to register because we have to know how many people, we got to put them every other parking space, and the max is 125. And I think, Laura, staff sent you, right? Because you had a list of people to send it out to. But as of today, there's only 38. So we got to, even if they pay $10 each, we're not even paying for the license. The $450 for the license we have to pay to show a Disney movie. And on top of that, it's like $2,000 for the screen. So again, looking for guidance from you folks. What do we think is the minimum? We thought we were going to get 125, like with a blink of the eye. Thought people would love it. And it's Frozen 2, the Disney movie. So staff asked me today, are we going to go forward with this? And let me bring that one up to the commission, see what they want to do.
Rick, so the screen is, you have to buy a screen.
We rent it.
It's $2,000 to rent. Okay, all right.
And then it's it's really a drive-in movie, Lawrence. They got to stay in their car. You turn on the radio to a certain frequency, and you know, it's like a drive-in. You watch it from your car. People have to stay in the car. We were going to get help from the St. George Men's Club to help out with the parking and stuff.
And you do charge people?
We can ask for a donation. By Disney's regulations, you cannot charge. So
Yeah.
it's a suggested donation, but we can't charge.
What happens when the kids have to go use the bathrooms? What's happening in that
Well,
department?
we're going to rent portage on, so yeah, they have to get out to do that, of course. Yeah. And I think it's starting like at 8:30. It's got to be dark enough, you know.
When was it scheduled for?
This Friday,
Oh,
August 8th.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, if we bought the screen for $2,000, which you just told me we're not, and we could use it for other events, and then, you know, it's $400 for the license, I say go for it, you know, but if it's $2,000, just gonna go up in smoke for 38 people, that's.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
We can have movies on the green.
and you know,
So I
Suzanne-
just put a question in
Yeah.
chat. Is it 38 families or is it 38 people?
Good question. I'm not sure.
Because, I mean, if-
38 families, because if they have to
probably 38
register,
cars,
they would
yeah.
you would register a family or a
Yeah,
car.
register
So
a
it's
car. Yeah.
So that's
Right,
a
so-
fair amount of people. Even if there's 2, you know, or 3 people in the car.
Be 100.
And I think it said somewhere, I don't know what the promotion of it has been, but I haven't seen anything recently, you know, by email or
You know,
social
my
media
staff,
or
you know,
whatever.
I mean,
People-
they tell me they've done it, set us up on Facebook.
Hey, I'll
they said-
tell you,
Well, but I mean, it's up, but it needs to be like boosted or I don't know. Someone needs to, or we all need to post it
I
or
think-
something because
I
I think
think-
when people it
I
was
think all
announced,
of
it's
us-
like so far, the date probably seems so far away. Like we're in August now, and August 7th is then. And if it was I don't know. I just think last time there was such a response that people said they didn't realize they had to register, which is fine because it's new. But I also think people don't
I
get all the
think we-
background, so they really need to plan ahead.
I think we need to blast it.
I do
Like,
too.
I think we all have enough people on our Facebook page that are local that we can just
Yeah.
blast it out there.
I agree with you. I think there's a way we can bump it up because, I mean, it seems like a perfect thing to do. And I think,
Yeah. I
We
mean, I
can
went
do
by
that.
Salt Meadow Park in Madison last week, and it was, you know what, people were in their cars, you know, there during the movie, and I thought it was pretty cool, you know, and I think it would be great for our town as well.
yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
also made me think of something. I think when they blasted it out, it was an email blast that had 2 or 3 other things in it.
Yeah,
So
I
it
got
wasn't
it.
like a flyer, you know, maybe a flyer, a colorful flyer that we have. Maybe that's what they got to send out.
well, see, mine ended up in the, in spam, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Aaron, it went directly to spam, so it could be happening with a lot of other people as well, that they're not.
Can we all blast it and have a cutoff? All right, they need to have so many people sign up by this date or we got to cancel. What's your last possible cancel date?
Yeah.
I would say Thursday because we got the rental, you know, the movie screen company. You know, we can't find the day out until they cancel it.
And it
I'll
would
check
be,
out, you know, I'll check with the contract, how much advance notice they need. I can check on that. And, that'll be the deadline.
and I think unless there may already be one done, because I don't remember what it looked like when it was posted, if it was announced online, but if you could email all of us the flyer, we can all
Yeah.
share it too. Is there something?
I just shared it again on my personal page because I had already shared it earlier.
Yeah.
People need a reminder.
But Claire, it had like 3 or 4 other things, right? It wasn't
No, the one that I posted on Facebook is just the movie.
Oh,
Okay.
you had that, okay.
But I think that's half the issue. I think when we have events like this where we want people to register, I think we need separate blasts for it.
Yeah.
It gets lost when there's other things and people just glance over things.
Yes, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I just sent you a friend request, Claire.
Oh, right. See, I am asking for a flyer and I should know, and I forgot, though I have seen this flyer before, which is exactly, speaking to the fact that people need reminders, you know?
Yeah, and I just also shared earlier today the scavenger hunt change in date. So if anyone needs that one, that's on my page too. Because the scavenger hunt was tomorrow, but they changed it to next Tuesday.
Like,
And
you
we
Because
also
of the
have
weather.
about 12,000 little chocolate eggs if anybody wants to have an Easter egg hunt. I hope they didn't melt yet.
Okay. Ever onward here?
Okay, I'll make sure we get so I think at this point we're saying yes, go with the movie. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to note, the fire still says register. Fire still says register, obviously Monday, today. So if it's easy to fix, we can fix it, or when we blast it, we should know it's been extended to Thursday.
Okay. I'll get Steph. Make sure to get that out to everybody.
Yeah.
I just shared it too.
Okay. All right, the Quantapug room chimney is still open and they're working on it, right?
Yes.
Yes, I did go see it. It's a lovely chimney.
We received several ideas, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to seal it. We can do it ourselves. We don't need to contract anybody. We have a lot of ideas from different contractors. And then it came down to sealing it, and then looking up at the roof, there's a little bit of a issue with flashing and just kind of caulking around that flashing. So I'm going to have Todd, if we get this heavy rain tomorrow, go up there, not on the roof, but look up and we'll see if any water's coming in.
If any water's coming in.
Then we'll know for sure, is it coming from the roof?
Okay.
So it'll be a good test tomorrow.
So we're getting there.
Yeah.
All right. New business. We've done A. B. Consider raising the beach fees next year. You know, I'd like to sort of table this until we get through the summer. If that's okay with everybody else.
I agree.
Yes, great.
The only reason I brought up Rose is there are residents who suggested that we charge non-residents more. And I said, we can't charge non-residents more unless we charge residents more. So you can't only go double for non-residents. So the particular person who suggested that said, I'd pay $80 for a beach pass if we charge non-residents $160. So anyway, we don't need to.
I don't know that would go over well with the rest of the town, but I think it's something we could discuss at the end of the year, and we'll start to. Let's see how it goes with the fees that we've had this year.
I can tell you, we're financially doing very, very well at the beach.
Okay.
We're collecting a lot of money down there.
All right. So maybe we don't need to raise them. Maybe, you know, when that's open and Quantapug's open, it'll be fine. So let's see what happens. But let's table that for now if it's okay with everybody.
Fine with me.
Okay, the rules for music played by guests on the beach. I guess somebody's playing loud music and it's offensive.
And I looked at the sign down, there's nothing about nothing in our rules that says anything about music. But I mean, somebody may not like country western, some may not like rap, they may not like jazz.
You like my monster?
I don't know if we just don't allow it. Not everybody keeps it quiet and they're not just wearing the earbuds, and I just, again, it's a complaint I got. I said, I'll bring it up and talk about it.
Is it youth playing the loud music, or is it 80-year-olds playing the loud music?
I
Or just
don't
loud
know.
music?
I don't know, who it is.
Yeah, if I could pipe in there, I spent a lot of time in Jacobs. I was down there a weekend and people were playing music. It wasn't loud, but I'm thinking, personally, I don't think anybody should be playing any music down there because it's an open area and, people go down there for peace and quiet. And I don't think whether it's loud or so, I don't think any music should be played down there at all. It's not appropriate.
No.
If you want to play music, stay home and play music. But the question is now, if we wanted to put a rule in like that, how would we do it? I assume we'd have to go through the Board of Selectmen, right? To like put it into a town ordinance and say no music at Jacobs Beach.
And then I guess
we do that.
It
Or
doesn't
can we pass something here, music at Jacobs
I think
Beach?
it has
Or?
to be a town ordinance, does it, Rick?
Well, I think a lot of our beach rules are listed in the town ordinance.
Yeah.
I guess we'd have to check with Pam and find out, does it have to go to that level?
Yeah.
I think if it means police involvement to help somebody stop, if they were listening, they're going to say, well, where's the ordinance? Forbids it. And we could add it to a sign. That wouldn't be too hard, I don't think. But
right.
Again, we really got about 3 weeks left, maybe 4 weeks. left down there? Do we kind of just see how things go the rest of the year? And like with it, when we're talking about fees for the beach, maybe talk about music, and if it has to become an ordinance, we work on it for next year.
You know,
Yeah,
let's,
that's
I
a good idea.
probably a good idea. Let's see how, you know, I mean, I know it happened once or twice, but is this going to be an all? Let's give it another week or two and see what happens.
And I also think, I mean, because I agree, if I want to go sit in the beach for peace, I don't want to listen to someone else's music. But when we are allowed to have, like, if you have a little kid's birthday party at a pavilion and they're playing music because they're doing a game, like, we have to figure out
how to word that.
Work, you know?
Yeah, I think on the beach, I think you're right, Tara, because, you know, we're having concerts on the beach. That's music, obviously, right? But you're right.
Yeah, but
sometimes
People are
DJs,
choosing. That's a concert you scheduled. Yeah, that's not.
Right. But people do ask for music in the pavilions. Sometimes, like you said, they have a DJ or maybe they have a little band or something. That's right on a reservation form. If they're asking for music, I have to basically approve it. I think we're talking more like on the sand.
Right.
Yeah. I think there's a difference.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Then, you know, there's a difference.
Well, first of all, how many complaints has there been? And second of all, how on earth we can place another rule out there, and how are we going to police that? It's like telling people they all have to wear masks, but there's no one there to record whether or not they're all wearing masks or making sure they're, you know, how do you police that except have a sign up that says, please be respectful if you're, you know, with your music or something like that. It just seems like, I don't know, maybe I'm anti-rules all of a sudden. I'm getting tired of everybody complaining and moaning at everybody, and it's music. Get over it.
I think all you do need, though, is just a rule. And so if it's a problem, I also feel like if we make it like however you word it about music on the beach, which I agree with Rose, that we don't really have to deal with this summer. Right. But it's also something, if it's just a rule on the list of whatever you're expected at the beach, it just gives whoever's working there, if it becomes a problem, this is the rule. But if someone's reasonable, it's not bugging anyone, and there's like little music that some families play, I feel like, I'm not suggesting you put in a rule just to not be able to enforce it.
Depends on how loud it is.
There's differences in there. There's I don't know.
No, I mean, it's simple. I mean, there's rules down on the beach. The rules are you can't go on the jetty. You can't swim beyond the jetty. I mean, there's other rules down there, and just add another rule: no music on the beach. It's to me, it's not complicated.
Yeah, I think it's straightforward.
All right. Why don't we just see how it goes the rest of the summer, and we'll table that, and we'll start to talk about the beach stuff later on.
Okay.
Maybe I won't be grouchy about rules then.
Yes, maybe we'll all feel better about rules.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing on the we have two more things. Okay. The Hobie Cat at Jacobs or Chittenden. Well, I know my feelings. I've talked to Rick, but Rick, I'll let you explain where this came from.
So every year I get people asking about having a Hobie Cat catamaran at the boat racks at Jacobs, and there's obviously they can't fit on a rack. They're huge.
What is a Hobie Cat?
Catamaran.
Catamaran. So it's got two pontoons and like a canvas part to sit on. It's a sailboat.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
They're big. They're 10 feet wide, 18 feet long. Madison has 19 of them that they allow, and they charge like $220 versus $90 they charge for a boat rack, because they take up so much space. We've always said no to it because, number one, there's really no place to put them down there. I think Madison has more room. I mean, I can't imagine where somebody could put one of these, but many years ago, I think 20, 24 years ago, somebody had one down there. I think maybe when I first came here, a little longer, but the canvas part, I think kids were using it like a trampoline. They were bouncing on it, jumping on it. There's a big tear in it. I think the mast got bent, maybe from kids hanging on it or whatever. I saw it as an attractive nuisance. I mean, there's no one there to keep anybody off of it. Nobody's climbing on kayaks. But these catamarans, the one that was there was underground. Again, they were bouncing around on it, climbing on it. And it takes up a lot of space. It really does. But every year somebody asks again this year. Excuse me, and I told them that currently we're not allowing catamarans. We don't have a space for it. But I said, I'll bring it up to the commission. Tony, I think, suggested, maybe it's Tony or it might have been Conley. What about at Chittenden? If we don't want to have it at Jacobs, what about at Chittenden Beach? Then the question is, well, how do they get it there? They'd have to launch, probably have to boat launch the marina, sail over there and pull it up. They can't drag it across the soccer field. It's a long, long way to go with it. you know, it's a pretty underutilized beach. I don't know if we want to start putting kayak racks there at this point. Although it's getting more utilized. Mary Rapetti, who lives right down there, she told me that, you know, on a typical Saturday or Sunday, she's seeing like 20 people over on that beach. They can't get into Jacobs.
She's right, because I was over at Chaffinch about 2 weekends ago, and we're looking over, and there's all kinds of people sitting at the beach over there at Chittenden.
So it's becoming an alternate, you know, for people who can't get into Jacobs, you know, they're going there. So I don't know. I mean, it is kind of remote there. There's even less protection there for somebody's catamaran than if they had it at Jacobs. I don't know where we could put it at Jacobs, though. Just, you know, there's really no room there.
Yeah, Rick, the kayak racks at Jacobs, they're all filled, right? I mean, there's.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a bunch of kayak racks aren't being used. We get rid of that and stick those in there.
No.
Well, these are very big and heavy. You couldn't put it on a kayak.
You couldn't even put it on a rack.
Yeah. I mean,
think about it, they're 10 feet wide, 18 feet long. They're big.
Well, and my concern about Chittenden would be getting it from the parking lot to the beach. You're going across a field.
That's
And
why I said I think they'd have to
You
go
would
through
be
the
taking, yeah, you would
marina. I think they'd have to sail
be
over.
mooring it there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And my concern was, I don't know that I just feel there's a liability in having a boat over there at Chittenden where nobody can really see what's going on. You don't know that it's gonna be safe. And then once some people look out in it or something goes wrong and you're liable, it just seems like a bad idea to me.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I had one of those, I wouldn't want to leave it there like that, unattended. That's not our responsibility to make sure nothing happens. I mean, just like the kayaks, right?
Well,
If the kayak is destroyed or stolen, what happens? That we're not held liable for that, are we?
No.
No. Okay.
Kayaks, you can sort of chain them, you can do something with them. When we had a catamaran at one time, and we just kept it in our yard, and Dennis drove it down and went into the launch and launched it when he needed to. To just leave it there, you're right. I mean, it's a nuisance because, yeah, I mean, if I were a kid, I'd love to play on that sucker. You know, I'll have a ball. I'm afraid of what would happen. I don't think for us it works because we don't have people that close to our boat wrecks or anything else that are keeping a very close eye on it. I don't see it really working for us, but that was my opinion.
I mean, is that something that, I mean, I know the marina is not huge and parking's not huge there, but is that something that they've considered, you know, you get a slip for, or if they have designated spots that, you know, they'll allow people to park them in the parking lot, you buy a spot, just like we buy a space for our kayaks. I mean, to me, it sounds like their issue. Because we don't, I mean, I think we've discussed this multiple times that we really don't have a space for them. They're too big.
Right.
They're too big.
Yeah.
Bingo.
So I would just, yeah, Rick, I think we just need to tell this guy that we just can't, we don't have the space.
I mean, could we also
Basically
like, there's so many like Browns and the other one, Little Marinas down by Chaffinch. I didn't know there was two, but the little one down there has a gazebo. You know, is there a way that we could talk to any of them and find out if they're willing to work with any of our residents on keeping catamaran? I mean, I'm not just saying like no, but I mean, I think we can find alternative ways for them.
We could suggest
suggestion.
But they suggested them that they contact some of the marinas. I mean, that would, yeah. I don't think we need to contact the marinas and find a place, but they can contact marinas. And
well, I just felt like maybe we can work together. Maybe it's a registration through us, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah, tell them to buy a kayak, Rick.
I tell people I have a yacht. It's called a kayak. It's a two-seater.
Okay. So I think the very last thing has not made it on here. And that's a request for room reservations.
Oh, right.
Did everybody get this email, Rick? Did you send this out
I
to
sent
everybody?
it. I think, I don't know if you all got it. I know it was late in the day.
But the
So you want me to give a summary what it's all about? Liz?
all right, go ahead. Yeah, you can do it.
So I actually got a call from Matt a week or so ago saying that he was in discussion with Dr. Freeman. And the issue is if they do this hybrid school thing where kids are going to be part-time at school, part-time home, what do they do with parents who have to work, those kids who can't be home? Where do they go? So they're working with the Guilford Center for Children, have the before and after school program, which they do at, I believe, at Cox Lakes and Leet, I think, right now. I think Jones, they might go to the Suncatchers, I think, right?
Yes,
Yep.
It's just sun catchers.
So the school basically, I don't know if I want to use the word contract, but they have an agreement anyway, where before and after care program run before and after school programs at those schools. They're being asked to staff someplace for these kids who can't be home because their parents are working. So, you know, if you got kids who are K through 6, let's say, where are they going to go? If their parents are working and they got to be home 2 or 3 days a week, there's no one there with them. So they're asking about the community center. I think they're looking at some churches. Matt, I think, said they're looking at maybe the VFW Hall, Knights of Columbus. So I had a conversation with this, Jessica today, Jessica Catlin, who directs that program. She said they have 52 families right now who've signed up saying that they need a place for their kids. If the school goes with this hybrid program, which I'm not sure they even know what they're doing yet. Not a criticism, it's just nobody knows. They're still, you know, trying to decide things. So I had a list of questions that I sent to you, and I got the answers to some of those today.
Okay.
So I asked them, we talked hypothetically, all right, so what if we were able to come up with 2 rooms, you know, just hypothetically, what do we do? They have to follow the same law that we follow now. We can't. They can have only 10 kids in a room. So maybe we're talking about 20 kids, right? If they use 2 rooms. The kids have to stay in that room with the same teacher all day long. They're talking about 7 in the morning till 6 at night. Now, maybe not all the kids are at that time. Maybe, you know, parents are home at 4:30. Maybe they pick them up and they take them, but they have to be available for that amount of time. And that would be their learning center in a sense. You know, instead of the teacher, them being at home looking at the computer for whatever they're teaching, they're sitting in a room at the community center doing that with a monitor. We wouldn't have any responsibility for that. But then I asked about, okay, what about cleaning and disinfecting? You know, if they're using the bathroom, is that going to put more work on Todd? He's got to go in there every half hour, every hour. I don't know. How often is he going to now have to disinfect bathrooms? How often is he going to have to go disinfect chairs? It would be one group all day long. So that was my question. Would be a group of 10 kids for like 3 hours, then another group of 10 kids? Because again, by the guidelines, every time a group is in a room, you have to disinfect it before the next group comes in. I don't mean the room, but the chairs, tables, anything they touch with their hands, you have to disinfect. You don't have to spray Lysol all over all over the room. So, you know, so I asked those questions. I talked about a separate entrance. Ideally, that would be the best way to do it. The ages are K through 4. I asked, do they charge a fee? And they do. I said, do you pay the school to use the schools? They pay nothing. They pay $10 a day. That's all the school system gets from them. So the point I was trying to make is that I think we're supportive of trying to help. I think we all have to chip in to do what we can so these kids can have some kind of normal education. If we can do something to help, I'm all for it. But what I indicated to her, and I said to Matt a little bit, I want to share with you folks, is that we're going to have continual loss of revenue. We made nothing in the spring. We lost money in the spring, probably losing a little money in the summer on camp. We maybe broke even in the winter. Usually from winter, spring, summer, in our program account, we would have netted, I'm just throwing this out here, I don't have an exact number, but probably at least $70,000 net that then goes into concerts, fireworks, special events, all the other pickleball courts that we have to pay $100,000 for out of that. And so what I'm getting at is, you know, do we think about, if they're doing this, do we charge some kind of fee? Maybe it's not the $35 an hour or whatever we're charging right now, but maybe something. There's gonna be an extra cost. If Todd has to come in at 6:45, because they want to start at 7, he starts at 7:30 now. There's overtime, you know, and I can't say to Todd, we'll come in at 6:45, leave at 3:45, because we may need him until 4:30 for something else. I mean, that's when we need him for our stuff in the building. The biggest question though, and I talked to Dennis Johnson a little bit about this, and Matt a little bit, is during school, nobody else can be in the building except the school. At the daycare center, nobody's in the daycare center except the daycare. So what does that mean about any other programs we want to run? Do we open up a room or 2 or 3 or 4 for this program and then nobody else can use the building? That eliminates everything we do. I mean, Parks and Rec is out of business. Nothing we can do.
But did we get an answer to that question?
The answer, I believe we can do. It's not a school. It's an off-site location, not run by the school. It's run by Guilford Center for Children. But I think we would like to have them have a separate entrance so they're not walking in the same way everybody else is walking in. So a couple thoughts. If we do this, I'm brainstorming, throwing this all out for you folks. I'm looking for your opinion a lot tonight, and I really value it and I appreciate it. If we do it, one idea is Sachem Room and Faulkner Room, because there's a back entrance to the Sachem Room from the playground. They don't have to come in any other part of the building, have their own bathrooms in there. There are back stairs that can go right up. They're really emergency egress, really, but there are back stairs on that playground that go right up to the Faulkner Room. But they'd have to probably use those bathrooms up there, probably. That's the only thing she said to me is that they're going to have their own bathrooms, no one else can use them. I said, well, I don't think that's possible upstairs. I don't think that can happen.
I think Claire needs to mute her family for a minute.
We get excited. We're talking about school.
My kids aren't even here. They're downstairs.
Oh.
Well, there's one behind me now, but that.
People are banging around or something.
I think if we do it, that's probably the best scenario. However, that eliminates any preschool program for us because that's the Sachem Room. You know, we are. You know, I don't know if we can run preschool programs. We tried in the summer and we got nobody signing up. I don't know what would happen in the fall. I don't know. The other option is give them 2 rooms upstairs, maybe Quantapug and Faulkner, or you know something up there, and they can go in the stairwell by the loading dock. There's a stairwell there that goes directly right upstairs, and they'd have to use that bathroom. When I talked to her about mixed use of the bathroom, she backed off on that and said, well, all right, we understand that it would just have to be disinfected more often. And she said their staff is willing to do that. They'll go with spray bottles, they'll spray the water, you know, the faucets in the sinks, the toilets, flushers, doorknobs. They're willing to do that. Maybe Todd does it a few times a day, but not like every half hour or something. I think logistically, the preschool room in Faulkner probably works best for them. But it does pretty much eliminate preschool for us. We do have the keeping room, but that's very small. We can, with the social distancing, we probably wouldn't do it. We only get 4 kids up there, you know.
I think we need to still offer the pre-K program. I don't see why they couldn't use 2 rooms upstairs.
Because at the same time, we could have aerobics classes, Tai Chi. Tai Chi is starting up in August. They're going to be up there. Oil painting is going to be used in the Quantapug room in August.
Yeah.
You know, seniors are like begging to come back. They want to know when they can come back for lunch.
Yeah.
They also asked me about maybe using the Guilford room for some gym activities. And I think that's out. You know, that's one room that we can definitely use for a lot of larger meetings for the public or,
right.
You know, or for any programs we want to run. I said, you know, and if we started lunch again,
yeah.
I said, use the green. I said, we got the courtyard. The weather's nice. You can go out there and use that. You know, it's a fairly good sized spot for 10 kids. They can run around there a little bit. So I guess what I'm looking for, number one, I think there's going to be a lot of push for us to help out. So I want to get your feedback on it. I'm not opposed, me personally and professionally, to, you know, working together with the school system. We got to do something for these kids.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to definitely have an impact on what we can do with our own programs in the building. I think we can still offer programs. Again, if they have their own separate entrance, I think we can still do stuff. I don't think it's like a school where nobody else can be in the building. I'm not sure if that's a question maybe for Chief Hyatt we should talk with, or Rose, I did try calling the superintendent, but it just rang and rang and rang. There's nobody there.
Okay.
Today to try to get feedback from him on it.
Yeah.
Dennis Johnson seemed to think it could be okay having mixed use,
Okay.
from a health perspective, as long as they're kind of separated in their own rooms and whatever.
Right.
The only common thing might be the hallway upstairs and the bathroom.
Rick, my question is, so this is if Freeman decides that we're going to the hybrid, which from the meeting tonight, it sounds like they are. My phone is blowing up right now, because there was a Board of Ed meeting. My question though to the Guilford Center for Children is, so they're asking to use community center, and you had mentioned churches and BFW. So are they looking at more than one spot so that Guilford Lakes kids are at the community center, Cox kids are at BFW, and
I don't think they thought it through that far.
because the whole point of going hybrid is to keep kids in cohorts and separated and keeping the germs together. Well, if they all of a sudden go do this and all 36 kids from whatever schools or 52 kids from all the different schools are together on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the 3 days that we're not in school distance learning, then there's absolutely no point in doing the hybrid.
Yeah.
You're right.
So my question would be is, are they looking to do all of them at one place, or are they looking at multiple locations?
I think multiple locations. I think they're just looking for Leet or Cox at the community center because parents are going to be driving there. It wouldn't make sense for them to come down from Melissa Jones, for example, to come all the way to the community center. I think they're looking at probably sun catchers up there, working with them, or one of the churches there. I don't know all what else they're looking for, but I did ask that question. That's a good question. That it would probably be Leet or Cox kids that are more local using the community center.
Then where would Guilford, where would they use what would they use for lakes?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Interesting.
So Claire, how is this hybrid? What does this hybrid look like?
So the town of Guilford the kids would be split into Group A, Group B.
Okay.
Trying to keep families together. So like all three of my kids would be in the same group.
Right.
Group A would go to school Monday and Tuesday. And Group B would distance learn Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Group A would distance learn Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Group B would go to school in person with their teacher Thursday, Friday.
Wait, whoa.
So it's basically half the kids go to school in person Monday and Tuesday, half go in school Thursday and Friday. Wednesday is distance learning for everyone.
So on Wednesday, everybody's distance.
Yep.
Everyone's distance learning 3 days a week.
Okay.
Somebody come up with a vaccine, please.
Rick, question. So your plan would, if we do anything, would be to offer them 2 rooms, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not more than that.
Oh, more than
2 rooms. If we offer them 5, they'll take it. I don't think we should give more than that because, again, we don't even know what we can do yet for the fall. But like I said, seniors, more than anybody, are chomping at the bit to want to come back. They want to have lunch at the community center. And I've talked to Dennis about that, thinking, well, can we get them in the Guilford room? His initial reaction was, well, yeah, they can go to restaurants, but then he thought, let's wait till phase 3, and we don't even know when that's happening yet. So, but we are doing some programs. Our program staff haven't even started planning fall programs yet. Usually we're doing registration by now, but they haven't started planning because we don't know what we can do. If they're telling us we can have only X number of people in the building, so what happens? You got a meeting with these kids in 2 rooms, and maybe seniors in 2 rooms, and then a meeting in another room, and
We also have SILS programs. They have limit numbers. We don't know what their plan is yet either. So
I think they're going to go online, Rose. I think they're just going to do
all right
for the fall.
Okay.
So I don't think they're going to come back right now. But
so I'm again. You know what, Rick? I think there's a lot of questions with here. If I'm listening to what Tara and Claire are saying, and so half the group would be there Monday, Tuesday. Half the group would be there Thursday, Friday. What happens on Wednesday when everybody's supposed to be home?
They clean the building.
No, but where's these kids going to go if their parents are working 5 days a week?
Every parent has to deal. If this happens as hybrid, every parent who has to go to work will have 3 days when their kids are supposed to be home.
Exactly. But
It's
what I'm
just that it will be double the number of kids on Wednesdays. Yeah.
I mean, I get that, but what the before and after program is saying, okay, so we're probably going to take, the day that group A is in school, we could take the kids for group B, and the day that group B is in school, we'll take the kids for group A, because you can only have so many kids, right? Because they have to be.
What happens Wednesday?
What happens on Wednesday when everybody's home?
Yeah.
I gotta leave for just 1 second. I'll be right back.
I mean, this doesn't. I think there's too many questions here about how this is going to work.
I don't think we have enough information to make any decision.
I
Well,
agree.
Also, Claire and we're not even on the Board of Ed call right now. We're going off of what, I mean, unless you're talking to someone now, Claire, but that was just that from the proposal that went, but you've been here.
Yeah, no, according to what my, the messages on the phone, it sounds like they have pushed school back. Sorry, I'm cooking dinner, and school back to September 16th, start the hybrid, and that would go till, I think the date was October 19th or something, and then go into 5 days, or it was sometime in October, and then switch over to 5 days. So it was about a little over a month of hybrid and then full days, but she wasn't sure if that was voted on.
Are you saying full days of
5 full days in school? So they were, the proposal right now on the floor, I guess, is that hybrid would start September 16th and go till mid-October or late October, and then the school would transition, depending on numbers of cases and whatnot, back to 5 days in person.
But to go back, I mean, I think I don't know that we could put the decision off too much longer for these people. We can't put it off until September because it's too late. But I think we can offer them 2 rooms safely. What do you think?
I think we definitely have to. I think everybody's in agreement that we have to all do whatever we can do,
right,
to make, to help out our town with this. This is, I mean, it's overwhelming to me of how this is going to work, but I think we definitely have to do that, regardless of what that is. But then again, other people need to realize that, we're losing money also, and we have to keep this going. And I think a lot of people don't see it that way either. So you have to kind of, it's a fine line,
I mean, I think we have to,
to me, this seems like, this is a board of education issue, and I don't know what, just off the top of my head, you want to help people out, but why are we getting involved?
Well, I think we're only one of a lot of people getting involved. I think they are approaching churches, approaching the VFW hall. I will bet, I haven't been up to church this week, but I will bet you that Melissa Jones is talking to us at North Guilford Church.
I'm sure.
I'll hear from that at our meeting in another week.
If we're only offering 2 rooms, that's like Rick said, 10 kids a room, that's 20, that's only 20 kids. I mean,
but I think it depends. If Lawrence, I get what you're saying, and I think it depends though, because they're servicing 3 schools, and like I said, to keep the cohorts together so that we're not spreading all the germs on those days, it will have to be designated that Cox is at the community center, Lee is at VFW, and Guilford Lakes is God knows where.
Right. That's the whole point of it. Yeah.
I think they'll have to keep them separate. So I think offering 2 rooms and possibly only allowing 20 kids might work for them. If they right now have 52, I'm sure that's 52 kids registered across the 3 schools.
Right.
And Rick, and just, I don't know if she's looked at, but I would also encourage her to look at, or maybe you said it, the Knights of Columbus East something landing or whatever it is next to Calvin Lee. She might want to look into that space as well, because they have 2 large rooms.
Yeah, I heard to look into a lot of different areas.
Okay.
So I think we're, we can safely, I understand our concern, but a lot of those concerns aren't our concerns. Basically, our concern is, can we give up 2 rooms safely? And I think we can, if they could, meet us halfway, at least, more than halfway with the cleaning and all of that. So I think we still have to work with them on how this is going to happen. But I think if we offer them 2 rooms.
Yeah, I'm all for that, but I don't think the Rick staff should be, no. Hey, you're renting a room, you take care of the room, it's your responsibility to clean it. It's not Rick's staff responsibility to do anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's, yeah, then our thing is, okay, here's your room, you're
Right.
renting it, and we're not going near it. Right? I mean, I can't see how our staff would have to bear that burden of, cleaning up after these kids and everything. That's up to them.
As far as the rooms go, do you guys, are you okay if I meet with Terry and Ellen and kind of get their feeling about
Sure.
what 2 rooms make the most sense? I just thought of the Sachem only for access in bathrooms, but that would eliminate preschool programs. Ellen may have a sense for whether she thinks preschool programs would even go. And I don't know, nobody knows what we're talking about. A month, we're talking about a semester, we're talking about the whole year. Nobody knows.
Who
We
knows?
don't know.
I don't know how this is going to play out.
Next week could be a total different scenario. That's what's so hard about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can't really plan any programs till we kind of iron this out and then know what we're going to give them, and then we'll know what we are going to make available for Parks and Rec and senior activities.
Rick, when do they start for registration for the pre-K program? Would that already be happening?
For us, you mean?
Yes.
Well, we're behind.
Normally we haven't even advertised anything yet. Normally we would have started registration by now. We haven't started
Yeah.
anything.
I just wondered if anybody has inquired about it with you, whether we were doing it or not.
I think that in the spring for summer, there were a couple of people asked if we were doing preschool camp like we've done in the past, and we didn't. We didn't offer it this year. But I don't know. I mean,
but in the spring, things were really bad.
Right.
And we're phasing, we're in our, phase 2, phase 3, whatever phase we're in. But I think people are starting to feel a little more comfortable. I don't know that we get.
I don't know. I have a family member. Like, I know some people that don't want to send their children to school right now.
Allison will not send hers. There's no way in hell her kids are going.
And I understand that that's easier said than done when parents have to work full time, and that's totally understandable. But
exactly,
I'm thankful I don't have to make that decision right now but I can't imagine the stress, because I'm stressed for all of you as to what the right thing to do is. It keeps me up at night because I don't know.
But they're probably, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't, but there are probably some people who want to take their kids to pre-K just to get them out a little bit. So,
it's really hard.
It's a hard decision. Yeah, Larry?
How many kids actually do our pre-K in normal life?
What? I didn't hear your question.
How many pre-K kids we have in regular life?
Hey, Claire, are you there? Oh, Claire said.
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah,
how many kids for pre-K?
I would say that when my kids were in there, there was at least anywhere between 8 and 12 kids.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good sized class. I mean, it's a normal pre-K class.
Okay, so but it's doable in that space.
Absolutely. My kids, it never was crowded in there. It looked great.
Okay.
Right, if I can pipe in, Rose?
Yes, Larry.
So Rick, you think we could, I mean, you don't have a problem. I mean, these are our neighbors, and obviously you want to help your neighbors. So you think that from your perspective, we could offer them a couple rooms?
I think we can. So I don't think we're going to be able to do a full-fledged fall program like we normally do. I just don't think we're going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and we have an obligation to the taxpayers. If we're offering, rooms for rent, we have an obligation to the taxpayers to charge them an appropriate fee.
Well, that's
Right,
that's the next question. If we do this, what do we charge? And if I can just step back and let you know that one of our program staff suggested, well, why aren't we running this program? So we get the revenue, because they are charging the kids that come in. I said, well, because the school system has I don't want to call it a contract, I don't know, but they have an agreement with them. They're comfortable with them, and I think that's the way it's got to go. I don't think it becomes our program.
It's more of an.
I think that becomes good, because that's us. They still would have the problem. We can't have all those kids probably anyway.
Well, and I also think I also think it goes back to the point of cohorts. Like, they're already doing before and after on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at the schools for those parents that are sending their kids to school and still need that childcare before and after. So those cohorts are already together.
Right.
So they're still running their program
Right.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at the schools for before and after. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just a matter of keeping those kids together.
And if it's the distance learning, we don't want to be in the position of trying to be teaching these kids and we teach them wrong place. We don't want to go there.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
And Rick, this is,
All you have to do is teach them the wrong way to do math and you're dead in the water. You know, let's be real here. We don't want to be doing
I
this.
assume this will be run by our insurance carrier.
It'd be covered by
This
the
is not have to be run by the insurance carrier, our insurance
Oh,
carrier.
yes, Matt would probably take care of that, or
Yeah.
town, the town attorney. Yeah.
town insurance to take care of it.
Yeah.
But again, I think we could offer them 2 rooms, and I think either you and I can meet with them and talk about this. I don't know that we could set a fee right this minute, but we could certainly ask for something.
Yeah, and it's, it's good. We kind of have to make this decision tonight. That's why I brought it up, even though it wasn't on the agenda. I just got, because they got to put this into practice before our next meeting starts, our next meeting.
Right.
Yeah, and they got to know if they're registering kids, where they're going.
Yeah.
So.
And I can imagine, Rose, they're going to start asking, they're going to start asking all the churches.
Yeah, you know they're going to come up to North Guilford, yeah.
I mean, well, think about it. The churches do have the capability. We have the classrooms, we have bathrooms. I mean, I think everybody in the community has to do their part.
Absolutely.
To try to help the Board of Ed with this somehow.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think it's just our duty as citizens of Guilford. You just have to.
Well, what scares me is one of the things I have heard is that they're encouraging the parents to drop the kids off and not take the bus. I don't know how they're going to do that up at Melissa Jones, but that's not my problem, is it?
And I even heard that I wasn't even sure if Suncatchers was even going to be a go. I've heard that too.
Yeah. So
Rick, with Rose talking about, it is being encouraged that parents pick up and drop off their kids this year. How would that, I mean, our parking lot on a normal day is pretty crazy. Right now it's a little different because we're not having all our programs running. But do you foresee, I mean, if it's only 20 kids, that's possibly only 10 families.
Well,
But
especially if they're coming at
parking
in the morning.
Yeah, with parking and making sure that entrance, so like those parking spaces near that entrance, I'm just logistically, we could handle that.
I think so, because like Rose said, we're talking about 7 o'clock.
And 6 o'clock, I mean, it's.
Pick up 6 o'clock,
lots of pretty, because there aren't a lot of meetings going on now down there either, so our lot's pretty empty in the evening.
And maybe you could arrange, maybe somehow it could be arranged that you don't have to park to pick up. Maybe there'll be arrangements made where it's a drive-through and we take your child and their belongings and we put them in your vehicle. You know what I mean? Like there could be something you don't have to worry about parking.
In a way, it seems like that might be the way they have to do it anyway, because they don't want all the parents into the classroom anyway.
Exactly.
So it might be that way anyway.
Like that's how we do our camp. The parents have to drop their kids off. They can't go in themselves. We have a staff person meet them outside.
Absolutely.
We were supposed to take their temperature, which they eliminated that the very first day of camp. That requirement went down to tubes, but we got the thermometers, and the plan was that before the kid got in the car, staff or parent would take their temperature and let them out. I assume they're gonna have to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically drop and go.
Yeah.
So, all right, is that what we're pretty well decided, that we could offer them 2 rooms?
I'm gonna go for that.
I'm gonna go for that.
All right. Well, let's do that, Rick, and see what happens.
Okay. I told her to call me tomorrow so I could tell her what you guys decided.
And do you know why
And then if I want to
they
come,
threw it into the stands last?
tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday to come and take a look at
No,
what we have.
also,
I
he
don't wanna
wanted,
come Rose
he
to
needs
that,
to get
but I'll talk with Terry and Ellen tomorrow too. We'll talk about what
more home runs to be.
most logically give up.
Okay.
Can I, now with that,
Okay.
I had another question that came in this afternoon. Any of you familiar with, it's called the SHARP program or SHARP agency? They work with special needs adults. And I got it again this afternoon, a call late in the day from a parent. There are 4 special needs adults between 20 and 30 something years old, I guess. And they're running into the same problem. They used to meet, they're Guilford residents, but they met at, I don't know, was it BH Care or someplace in Brantford, I think. Someplace in Brantford they met. That place is not open now. So they have the same issue where they need their special needs adults to be with somebody throughout the day. So they're looking to go with a staff person to Marketplace, like for breakfast, and then they'll go to the library for a couple hours. They want to come to the community center. They want a room for 4 people Monday through Friday every day till this is over for 2 hours from 11 to 1. I said, look, I don't know. And we're talking about now schools needing space. We have our own program we have to run. The pushback was that well, we have the same needs the school kids have. I think it's different. I don't know if they're paying for this. They probably are if they're bringing them to that, whatever that place is in Brantford. I think it's different. School kids have to go to school. But on the other hand, it's special needs. And, it's nice to try to do something with it. But there's another group that wants me to guarantee them a room 2 hours every day. So that's another room that's now tied up with somebody. So I guess I need to put on this one too, because I should get back to them.
But there's only 4 people, right? So we could give them a small room somewhere, maybe.
Well, don't forget, small is like Faulkner room. I mean, keeping room's too small. I'm not sure we can keep 6 feet apart. Well, it's 5 people counting the staff person. 5 people in that keeping room. I don't know. I don't think we have enough 6 feet spaces there to do it. And then again, are they using the same bathrooms that the kids might be using? So it's another group using.
Oh, yes, they are. There's nothing we can do about that.
Rick,
Right.
have you been in touch with other towns? Because I'm sure the other towns are getting the same requests. Like, I just feel like I don't feel like you should feel like alone in all this, that it's overwhelming, because I think it's happening in every town. So I just wondered if you've spoken.
I haven't. This call I got about 4:30 this afternoon. So this all happened, a few hours ago. And my conversation with Jessica about this was around 4 o'clock.
Mhm.
So they both came around the same time. It's like, holy mac, we're getting bombarded. So we're going to not run any programs at all this fall.
Yeah.
Let everybody else use the building.
Yeah. I think people are getting nervous because the time is getting closer, and yeah. And again, I think I really just, I don't know, I think every week we just have to take it. It's going to change. I just have this weird feeling that it's just every week is going to be something different.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, we could offer them Ruth Alexander on a monthly basis, but when we start our lunches, then they won't be able to use it.
Yeah. Again, I'll talk to you about that.
Is anybody else using the?
Well, nobody right now.
Exactly. So I mean, we could offer it for like September and then just reassess. I don't, that would be an option. I mean, that's good enough for 5 people.
What about town hall? They got rooms.
They do.
I like that.
Well, seriously, they're not. I'm sure they're not occupied all the time. They're not even meeting in person at the moment, right? So.
Okay, I thought they were. I thought the selectmen were back to meeting in person.
No, I don't think
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm not trying to take over town hall, but I mean, they have rooms that.
That's right, they do.
And I know there's probably some rule that I don't know about, but.
No rules tonight. There's no rules.
I'm sick of these rules.
That's right.
I do think in all this conversation is like, we're not using most of these rooms right now. We don't know what's going to happen, neither do they. So
Right.
I don't feel like we should be holding rooms just because we might have programs or we may not even be able to do, like,
Right.
we know we're not going to do 100% of what we did anyways, so it seems just the right thing to do.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
there may have to be a stipulation, like if something changes, but I kind of think that's optimistic.
I mean, we still have the lead room. We still have, next
Yeah.
door upstairs. We still have the Guilford room. So I mean, I think we could,
Rick's
Well,
office.
and also, well, I guess
They're only there from 11 to 1.
yeah.
So you could always start a program at 2.
Yeah, and I think the staff are ready to start trying to put some programs in. Again, we're still waiting for some guidance, but we can get up to 25 people in a program, and preschool's only going to have 4, 5, or 6 anyway.
Right.
Fitness classes are usually, we can't do 25 upstairs. We could downstairs. That'd be the max for fitness classes. Gymnastics. Probably not, because that's a lot of touching. You got
Too much touching. I don't know that Florence ought to be doing that.
But the fitness classes, Terry's got a lot of other programs. Ballroom, line dancing could happen.
Line dancing can happen.
They can do it.
Ballroom dancing can happen if you have if you come as a couple.
Ballroom did, the line dance they could do, you know.
Right?
Ballroom
But I'm saying you could do the ballroom too if you came as a couple.
Yeah, right.
Because there's a
So,
lot
I
that
mean,
come as husband and wife.
there's a lot of things we can offer, and
Yeah.
I think they're just waiting for me to say go, you know, and I think, you know, there's some staff worried or concerned about more and more people in the building, the chance that, you know, they might get infected somehow. There's some that definitely have that concern.
Right.
But, you know, I think that we can alleviate that as much as possible by custodial staff frequently, any touch point. We're not going to spray Lysol in the air to kill germs in the air, but we can't do that. But any touch point we can do frequently, like chairs. I asked Dennis Johnson, it's not where he's sitting in the chair, it's only an armchair. It's the armrest that have to get disinfected. So if they're using chairs that don't have armrests, don't worry about it. You know, you don't have to sit the back or the seat. You don't have to disinfect that.
As long as everybody has a mask on, I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, right. So, so I'm gonna kind of give the staff green light. If they feel like they don't want to program something in the Alexander Lounge, which really is usually not a program, it's usually pickup cards or bingo.
Usually it's cards or bingo or mahjong or something like that. And I don't think they're going to start that yet.
Right. So I'll talk to Terry about that. But like you mentioned, Italian class, French class have been wanting to come back.
Yeah.
You know, we could get probably 10 people in the elite room and spread them out enough. I think we could do that. Excuse me. But then we certainly have the exercise room, a Nuckatuck room.
Yep.
So I think we have space we can do stuff.
So if it ever came down to, maybe this is just a stupid question because I just don't understand really the relationship between the Board of Ed and Park and Rec, but say the Board of Ed came back and said that that the community center now has to be used as, quote, like an emergency center. Okay, so that in order to make this work with schools programming, we're gonna need you guys to.
Can they take over the building? Is that your question?
I guess in a way, like it's just, yeah.
They can.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Matt can do it. Matt can do it.
Think about it. If we have to be emergency shelter, school's not operating anyway.
Right. No, but if they came to you and said, we need every room you have, we'd have a hard time fighting that one. I mean,
Yeah, okay, that's what I was wondering.
Selectmen are behind them where there's.
Yeah, okay.
We're hoping that's not gonna happen tomorrow night.
Yeah, really.
No, that's just a scenario I had in my head. Like, what if it comes down to that? In order to make this work, we need your building in order to make this work.
They can do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Charge.
I mean, and if you think about it, I mean, I don't know how this daycare works that much, but I know, I mean, if you're limiting the kids to 10 to a cohort, you're going to need to hire more teachers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is so
Absolutely.
it's going to cost them a lot more money to even run their program. So this is all up in the air here. But
so I guess, Rick, you know, if you tell certain groups that, you know, yes, we can do this for you, but maybe with the stipulation, which maybe that's just a common, you would know that if the state comes down or the town comes down and says we need the building, then now we're not going to be held liable because we promised it to other people. So yeah.
Right. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. They would understand that. We would just cancel the programs. That's not. They would know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
So just so I have it right, I'm going to tell the daycare people that. Well, again, I'll meet with Ellen and Terry first on this, but we'll talk about a couple of rooms. We'll kind of make a decision what makes the most sense, and then let them know that from that perspective it's a go. I'm sure there's going to have to be contracts that have to be between the lawyers and everything else.
Absolutely.
And then with this other group, the 4-5 people, I'll tell them to fill out a form. Actually, they did. They filled a form out. We'll commit for 1 month.
Yeah.
And so we can evaluate it after that. But if we have senior programs starting to come back in,
then we may
not be able to allow them to continue.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, because I believe they're all residents, and their special needs, I think we wouldn't charge them for that.
God, no.
Just come use the building.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Well, you guys gave me a lot of help tonight. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Long meeting tonight. Other business? Please say no.
Well,
I know. If John was here, he might say, well.
I've been meaning to say.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The only thing I have is a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Wow.
That's a meeting here.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick.
You know, thanks, Rick, for all you're doing. It's not easy, but we got your back.
Stay safe, everyone.
Thanks, Rick.
Bye.
Rick, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.